What's good, lovely people? Welcome to another episode of Den Devine Sessions. This is recorded live from Den Devine, a music venue right here in Broadbeach, Gold Coast, Australia. I'm your host, Joseph Brown, a musician, a creator, and a passionate advocate for all things music. With years of experience on the stage and behind the scenes, I'm here to bring you stories from the heart of the music industry. Whether you're an upcoming musician, a seasoned pro, or dedicated music fan, this podcast is for you. Let's get into the episode. What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Den Devine Sessions, where we talk about the music industry. We go deep, we get real, we get raw. We talk about everything that needs to be spoken about to inspire the next generation of musicians. And what better way than to speak with School of Hanlon and one of the Hanlon Brothers. Is there only two of you?
It's three of us.
Three of you. Okay, cool. And this isn't the third, just to let everyone
I'm the adopted one.
He's the fourth. He's the adopted one here. And I'm here with Saia Hanlon and Noel Koska.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Two absolute weapons of musicians. Got many years in the music industry, and I'm sure we're going to talk about heaps of crazy stuff, man. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, good.
Yeah?
Good.
How you going there?
I'm very good, thank you.
Sweating.
It's early, it's good.
Yeah.
I had to get him out of bed this morning.
Yeah?
He was at the studio this morning. I had to get him out of bed.
Yeah, it was my
Bang on
snooze
the
alarm.
door. Come on, we've got to go.
What did you guys just recently, were you playing yesterday or was it?
Sunday, yeah.
And that's with the 42?
Corporate
42,
band.
yeah, the corporate band?
Yeah, down at Byron Bay Beach Hotel.
Byron Bay.
Oh, yeah.
Pack gig.
Yeah?
First song.
Wall to wall.
It was just like crazy.
What's your first song?
That one there was what's that song called? I just know the line in it.
I can't remember what the first song was. It was wild though.
Felt like this before.
Everybody make some noise now. Music.
Something like that. Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. As always, like what we like to do is we like to take it back to the roots and to the inspiration where it all began. I think that's important because I think that's where a lot of people that will tune into this, you know, they need to be related to that. It didn't all just happen. What you've got today, filling out a beach hotel, getting that sort of reputation. It started from somewhere. It started from your unknown, whether you were like, I mean, I know you come from a family of musicians, so whether you were a child or whatever it was, man, tell me your story, bro.
Oh, I don't think there's enough time.
Yeah.
Start.
Give me the preface.
I just real quick. My parents moved here for music. Yeah. So that was
from where?
From New Zealand.
Whereabouts?
So dad's from Kawerau, my mum's from Whakasane.
Yeah.
So they moved. I mean, just going to shortcut this. Obviously, like most people that immigrate over here, they all start in Sydney, and then it went from there, and then they moved to the Goldie because it was just the 80s were kicking ass here.
Yeah.
And particularly for Polynesians and Polynesian bands, and this is before like kind of pub rock kind of got started, which changed the whole scene. But previously to then, the Gold Coast was known for like Polynesian bands. So Polynesians have been here since like the 50s, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There was a scene happening around fish shows, eh?
There was, yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
I think there was a Sunsplash there.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that. But no, I've got a really strong feeling that there was Sunsplash there, and I'm pretty sure that like maybe Ziggy played there once.
Yeah, maybe.
But I'm saying 80s, 90s. You know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because it had a huge acts coming through then.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then what happened after that is obviously the pub rock, Aussie rock comes through, and the bands kind of changed, and that changed the scene here a little bit. So my parents stayed through that. So before that, it was like Polynesian shows and big bands, and then it went into the Aussie rock thing. So then they changed the rock bands. It was, you know, they were kicking ass in that. Polys were kicking ass in that too, and then it changed from that to noise restrictions as we have today, and not just that, pokies, noise restrictions, liquor licensing. There's so many things changed where there was a lot of rules, and that brought out the mini disc era. So then the boys started coming with groups playing mini disc, and that where you get like Koi Boys and that. Like, they were kind of from that
era
in that sense, yeah. Then that all changed, and then that's slowly. And then my brother and I came in after that, which was really hard, man. So, because we're Goldie kids, we're Burley kids. And it was really hard because it was right at the era where it was long enough where music wasn't really around anymore, like live music. It was all more like tracks and stuff and mini disc.
Yeah.
And we came out playing instruments. So we literally had to go around and knock on restaurant doors and be like, we'll play for food.
Yeah.
Just can we get a gig? And a lot of people took us on board, particularly at that time. Swinger Safari took us on board. Neil, shout out to him. And he was kind of like, yep, just you can have a couple of nights here, do your thing.
Yeah.
And then it ended up becoming like 11-year residency for us there. So
11 years.
something like that, yeah.
How old are you?
Oh, no, I'm young.
Can I ask?
I'm young, guys. I'm young.
We're young bucks.
Yeah. The 4 zeros are young, right? Yeah.
For sure. And that, like, you probably picked up heaps of lessons and stuff. Did your, like, having that, you know, your parents in the music industry, did they teach you a lot to, was it their advice, get out there, knock doors and stuff like that, or did you guys have to just, you know, I want to, like, where did you get any influence from them?
The biggest influence that we had is having a rehearsal space at our house. So Omer and I, and my dad was he was just one of those practice guys. He was an 8-hour-a-day practice guy. Yeah. So, and his soundproof room wasn't soundproof. So, like, if we stayed home, if I'm sick at school, or, you know, just growing up, in the afternoons he would have band rehearsals. And then during the mornings, he would during the day he would just practice and practice and practice. So that was our teaching, just listening to his dedication to someone playing and practicing and listening to bands and going into the rooms after that. You know, that was no AC then, so going to those sweaty, they smell like cigarette. There was a fan there, just had that pub smell to
music.
Just that was that music smell. And that was us. That was all of my brother and I used to love being in there. So that was our growing, because he died unfortunately when we were pretty young, and then our mum died not long after. So
sorry about I mean, look, we've always crossed paths, but we haven't really sat down and had a yarn, you know. And this is our first yarn, so I'm sure it's going to be pretty cool. I'm sure we're going to get there, man. But if I stumble on some things I don't know about, my bad, bro. Like, I didn't,
no,
you know,
ask whatever and do whatever.
But yeah, I'm sure it'll bring up a lot of those memories, which I'm hoping that we can, you know, that they're cherished memories, you know, that we can talk about these. You know, were you young or?
No, because I'm the eldest, so I was like 15 or something.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So my youngest siblings don't remember my dad, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, that we get to honour your dad and your mum through all of that, man. What a special moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Meant to do that. And how about you, bro? Like, what's your we only met today.
Yeah. Happy to meet.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, tell us what got you into music. What are you?
I've always been surrounded by music since obviously younger as a kid. My family, my mother's side especially, overseas, you know, I was blessed to have uncles that are in the industry that I used to look up to, and they're known as, I guess, the legends back home in the Philippines. So it was good.
And all these Filipinos can sing and play out there.
You from the? You Philo?
Yeah, Filipino. Yeah,
cool.
They're all crazy.
So yeah, seeing uncles and things do concerts, like actual concerts at a young age, I thought it was pretty cool. And being young and enjoying and loving music at the same time, loving singing, it was just cool to be around it and see it, and you know, and then so I grew up in New Zealand. We moved over there at a young, like when I was like, I think I was 1 or 2 years old. Growing up in Auckland, and then cool story. So I used to go to went to a school in Pinell Primary, and I used to sing in a band when we were kids with the Finns, Liam Finn, which is Neil Finn's son. And the only reason why I knew it was a Finn was because one of the Halloween parties we had when I was a kid, we thought we were cool being in a band together, but then everyone had their big video recorders back then, and it was all on one guy. It wasn't on us as a band. It was on Uncle Neil at the time, which is Neil Finn from Crowded House.
Wow.
And I didn't know who Crowded House was because I was only like 9 years old, probably 9, 10. But we used to go to his house in Pinell, which was cool because walking home, we'd have to walk past the house. And we'd sit there in the studio, and being a young kid with Liam and like the brother, we'd see the Crowded House actually playing and singing in the studio. And at the young age, I was just thought it was cool.
See what I mean? I told you. I didn't even know this story. He just brings out these stories.
Yeah, that was in Auckland. So it was cool being surrounded by music as well at a young age and seeing like Crowded House and all that at a young age, not knowing who they were, just doing their thing. And I just said, that's the kind of life I wanted to live, you know, seeing all the boys together, having a laugh and playing, hey now, no, you know, you're just like, yeah, I love this song. Then you hear it on the radio, like, I've heard this song before. Where?
Yeah.
Oh, at his house. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And then coming to Australia, same kind of thing, you know, like the music industry was pretty cool. Getting older, started.
Do you just do music?
Sorry?
Do you just do music? Is that your main
music
thing?
has always been with me, but beforehand I was in the professional world, so I was a mortgage broker for a bit, an account manager for a non-bank lending thing here, and then I think what brought me back to music is, I guess, the stress. You know, like when you're in an office space and you're stuck there every day, dealing with clients and things like that, the stress kind of gets to you, you know, and then it just wasn't me. I just felt like I needed to get out of this space. I needed to be creative, needed to get out of it. And then when I decided that big change to get back into the music industry, I think all the stress and everything just comes off your shoulder, because one thing with music is once you're on the stage, your whole concentration or everything is just music, you know?
Yeah.
All I'm thinking about is how am I going to get this crowd up and kick in and have fun, you know what I mean? I'm not thinking about anything else. And I think that's probably one of the best things about music is just being on stage and just being who you are and just letting it all out and letting it just be free in a sense. And yeah, to me, that's what music's all about. Is just having fun, being with your mates, having a good time, and making sure everyone else has a good time as well.
For sure, man. Like, look, a big thing why we started this podcast up was I think somewhere along the way there was a change, and I guess that's the whole point of this, is to have the conversation about maybe where that change was. Because I think the music is more about the industry than the music now. You know, like there's a lot of pretty crappy musos that are doing successful, but because they know the industry and they're smart with the music industry. But then there's a lot of like next level, you'd probably know so much amazing musicians who are still working the grind or not even able to do music because they can't find an income off the music industry, you know. And
I think there's better musos now than there ever has been.
For sure. Yeah, and there should be, how much tools we have, you know? And I think that's the whole journey of this podcast over time, is to try and track our way back to what matters, which is music. You know, the likes, the follows, all these things, they obviously are important in the industry, but I just don't believe myself that that's what should define a good musician.
Yeah, I think so too.
You know?
Totally agree.
So that's why I like to start off where it all began. Of course, you have your first musical inspiration, which for you is obviously your parents. Then you get in the music industry and you're like, you know, young and naive. I've been there. Yeah. And new player has entered. You know, and
that's
you know,
lady.
Yeah. Cool.
Ladies.
Hey, how you going?
She's going to need to censor everything that I say. So.
Make sure we're saying the right things.
Sweet. Yeah. So obviously, you know, you jump into the music industry. You're excited. You're young. For sure, there's naivety there, because I've had that. And then something happens, and then you go, shit, I've got to get smart. I've got to get wise. I've got to get, you know what I mean? Like this sort of things here. So when did that happen? Did you ever go through something like that? Did you go through a moment that you were like, I need to get onto it? Like when you know, I don't know what, like.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah?
There was. So my brother and I were really fortunate enough to get on that Sony thing when we were quite young, which was quite good. And we also were down at 301 down in Byron. We're doing a lot of sessions for them through the week. So we had a pretty good run there for a long time. But it actually was someone that said, I can't remember who it was, but they said to us, like, you know, do you want to be orbiting around other people or yourselves? And that was our moment of like, yeah, you're right. We should be doing our own thing.
Yeah.
And it was that point where we were like, you know, do I want to play and back everyone out and make everyone else's career good, or do I want to make mine good? Which is fine, because at the start I always just wanted to be a session muso, and that was kind of my dream. And I think my brothers too. But then as time went on, I realized I didn't actually want to be that. I actually just want to do my own thing, my own bands, my own music, my own, like, go my own way. And that was a time for me, was during that period.
Yeah.
Which is hard because you're making good money, good coin, you're only young.
Yeah.
You know, and you're hitting the road, you're meeting good bands, good people, famous people, playing on heaps of TV shows. Like, you know, at the time I was playing on Hey Hey Saturday, which was, you know, a huge thing for my brother and I, because we used to watch it as kids. So
Massive. See, I'm learning this.
But like all those
That's
things, we had
awesome.
to be like, you know, you can't just go on that show if you're just yourself. You got to build to go on those things. So, you know,
Did you have a manager for that?
No, we didn't. We were just running,
Just self-managed
yeah,
sort of thing? Yeah.
which that can be a problem too. You know all those little things as well.
How long were you in Hey Hey Saturday for?
No, we're just doing shows for that.
Oh,
We're
shows.
that in-house people. Yeah, I wish I was.
Do you still have any like connections through that production and all that sort of stuff now?
Nah.
They all moved on?
They did. Real funny story though about that is my brother and I were at the water bubbler, and we looked down and we saw some duck feet, and we're like, what the? And we looked up and it was Pluck a Duck. Had his sing off, nicest bloke in the world.
Yeah.
And we were just gobsmacked.
What? So for someone
Him and
that's
Red
not
Simon's super
watched,
nice.
someone that's not watched Hey Hey It's Saturday, because there's obviously some newer people. What's the equivalence of that for someone that's, you know, you've got a kid now? It's like meeting Bluey, I guess. Has to be. It's got to be like meeting Bluey.
He's pretty big. I love Bluey.
Hey Hey Saturday was pretty big.
Yeah, it was.
Hey Hey Saturday is massive.
Yeah.
Something everyone used to tune into and watch on a Saturday.
Yeah. Anyway, so like during that time, so it was, you know, we're doing heaps of shows like that. And I think that was the time where we decided we got to do our own thing.
Yeah.
So, and that's what we did. And then we came back and then we just had to take a step back and try push for ourselves. And
Yeah.
that was our switch moment then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But I mean, you have a lot of switch moments, man. You have moments of doubt as well. And you see, I don't really have them anymore, but I did when I was younger going through it all, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think it's that doubt that can sometimes craft you into a better musician, you know, because it's sort of like it can be used as a positive tool. When you doubt yourself, you're like, okay, how do I combat that doubt? Well, by getting better at my craft, by working harder, by, you know, closing the doors on things that's holding you back, you know?
Yeah.
Because sometimes doubt's being around the wrong people, you know?
Yeah,
Someone
that's
that's
right.
filling you up with doubt. Because people do that, man. They tell you, look, the music industry is full of a lot of jealousy, a lot of egos. If you're doing good, I'm sure someone's there holding you by the leg going, nah, you're not going to be. I mean, I don't know if you've had that experience, but I know it's pretty common.
You can't live off music.
You can't live off.
I haven't really had it. But I tell you what I did have though is it's like and I was only saying the story a few nights ago to someone, I can't remember, but when we used to go and tour in America, the first time we went to the States is and we're doing a college tour over there was like 15 people on stage, all techies, and we didn't, like, I was like, well, we got techs on this, we were nobodies. You do like a drum fill or someone to do something and they throw towels up, what, they're not clapping, and we're like, we do something wrong, because we're so used to Aussie where you'll push out of the boundaries a bit and people will be like, oh, here we go, show off. Or, oh, and you know, that's the instant reply, like how they perceive you.
Yeah.
But over there, it was just like, oh my God. And it was just like,
hype you up.
yeah, I'm going to dig in a bit more now, and I'm going to I want to show you now and like what I can do. That is a really positive thing. So I noticed that when I came back, he was like, man, we don't really get that here. It's not really, they don't really get hyped. Like everyone kind of is like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we're going to go down that conversation path, because I think that's a really good thing to talk about is, you know, how the audience has changed, or how they changed from culture to culture. But it's changed,
so
man.
much.
Like it does. It's full on. And how about you, bro? Like, what's like? Do you do it professionally? Yeah.
So I've done the band scene overseas as well. So I was overseas in the Philippines for about 7 years in the live scene.
Yeah.
With bands, and same thing with the crowd. It's very, I guess in the States they really cheer you on or whatever when you do something good.
Are you in the Philippines?
Philippines, they're a very hard crowd.
A bit staunch, are they?
A very hard crowd to please. But if you're a good band and you get them up, and it's very hard to get people up and dancing, I guess. But if you get that, you're a good band. So we used to get that all the time, which is good.
That was my next question. Do you get them up and dancing?
yeah. So I used to get them up and dancing, and it's just a whole different vibe. Like I think, if I'd compare it, like here in Australia, we play like party songs where everyone just gets up, gets drunk, and has a good time and party. Yeah. Where overseas they like to sit down, have a drink, and just enjoy easy listening music as well. So it's a total different scene, different vibe. Anywhere you go in the world, I guess, when it comes to music, everyone has a different local vibe.
Yeah,
but,
they do.
Yeah, but general stuff, and everyone gets to relate anyway.
Yeah, man. And what point in your career did that, where you went, I'm not just a musician, I have to be these other things, Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think when it comes to that, it's just an art. If you really enjoy your art and you enjoy, I feed off the energy of people.
Yeah.
So when I see people enjoying what I'm doing,
yeah,
to me, that's fulfillment. You know what I mean? Sure. I'm a singer, and the way that I let the music out to you guys and let you feel how I feel, and to see that smile on your face, that's everything to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As an artist as well. So, yeah, that's what I love about music, man.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
just, giving those good vibes to everyone.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it. Yeah. Whether they're in a sad part of their life, you can sing a sad song, they could cry in front of you. To me, that's still fulfillment. It means that they're really taking on what you're doing.
Yeah, we're in a game of emotions. That's
correct.
We're feelings. That's the industry we're in.
Yeah.
Industry for feelings,
It is. I mean, it 100% is, I've done gigs at wakes. I'm not sure if you've done a gig at a wake before, but, you go, what do I sing? Do I sing Don't Worry, Be Happy? At a wake? I don't know, but I know what you mean. Like every situation's different. You got to adjust, and you
got to read that crowd.
Yeah.
But that's different. Like, it's also different from covers to originals too, that's, and, my brothers and I always talk about it. You got to compartmentalize. I've noticed that when I play covers and perform covers, all that matters is you getting everyone's ass out of those seats and on that D floor.
Correct.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
So that means you might be playing Sweet Caroline for the millionth time and you don't particularly like it. Not that I don't like it, but I just, you get bored of playing the same songs all the time. You gotta act like it's the best thing ever, and the crowd will feed off that energy, and then they get up. On the opposite hand, when you play originals, you just got to be yourself, playing your songs, and you just got to put that out there, and don't give a fuck about them. You just have to be you, and then they'll see you being authentic, and that's what will bring you back. Your job is not to be like, oh, they're not liking my song. I might need to. I need to write another song that's gonna. No, you just be you, who you are, and then put that out there.
Yeah. You've obviously got the best of both worlds. You do originals, and you do covers, of course. So your journey with those two industries, because personally, they're two different industries.
They are, yeah.
Really, you can't treat them the same.
And there's and you're exactly right. There is a line there though, which is super blurry, and which is really important for young crew, because one doesn't go with the other either. So when you're learning and you're learning your craft and you're young, nothing's original, right? There's nothing you do that's original. The thing is, what you do is you collectively get all your favorite artists and you build something from yourself, and that's what you put out there. Yeah. And that thing there is what you say is original, right? Because it's a amalgamation of all the things that you love.
Yeah.
But it really is just stealing of everything, right? It's just a bit of everyone. So I'm lost track here for a second. So you need to learn from all the covers and learn all your favorite songs. So covers a really good place for you to learn and work out what do you love playing, what really makes you and really rings with yourself.
Yeah, your sound.
Your sound. You got to find, and that's important. You got to find your sound. You only find your sound by doing that, right? Is learning and taking from bits and pieces. So covers are super important. I always tell everyone when they're first starting, learn all the covers, learn all your favorite artists, and then you're
That's the foundation of it.
That's the foundation.
The covers.
And then the hardest thing is you developing yourself into an artist, and that takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. You're going to take time to then
good stuff here, bro.
Become your own person and then your own sound, and then that becomes you. And then the more you do that, the more you start forging your way of like, that's who you are. That's who you are. You know, that's who people are. And that's when you turn into original artist, and that's when it starts.
Man, and not only that, you learn humility because you have to be humble to be a cover artist because you can't be, you're a cover artist at the end of the day, right? So you're learning that humility, which is important for an artist. Yeah. You're learning how to read crowds. Which is important for an artist. You're learning how the impact of every genre. Yeah. And you can, you can bring people down, you can bring people up. How much stuff these are like pillars, right? For you to be a successful artist.
Yeah. Because not everyone's like, Jackson, Michael, who starts off in a group who's already doing
who's got an abusive dad.
Yeah. We all start like most of us have to start, playing the covers and going out there and getting booed at and whatever. And
yeah. For sure.
Drinking too much of that tab and getting kicked out by the owners.
Man, I feel what you're saying. I fully feel it. Like I'm doing covers myself as well. And the thing I love about covers is for a little moment, you get to be that person.
Yeah, you do.
You're like, I'm Michael Jackson right now. And you get to feel what that feeling was.
Yeah, you do.
And I get it. There's some things when they're cheering you on, they're not cheering you on. They're cheering Michael Jackson on.
Yeah, that's right.
That's all cool. Which again, that's like, it's not about you.
Yeah.
And I think if you make it not about you, I think you're going to do such great things when you start releasing your originals.
And that's what I was talking about. It's a compartmentalization that you have to, that you have to kind of be aware of because that'll help you out. Yeah. To be able to aware of knowing this ain't me, but I'm part of this and I'm going to enjoy this moment,
Yeah.
So it doesn't get to you, but you still get to feel the essence of it.
But on that, so you said Sweet Carolina. Is that the song? Is that the song that you go, here we go again?
Nah.
Tell me, man. It's all
probably
good.
Horses.
Horses.
Yeah. You said it.
It's very horses, but how funny is it? It's very horses, but when we do a breakdown thing in it and then you get the crowd to sing it, and I always get into that song, I'm like, it's, whatever. But then that particular bit where it's a breakdown and you've got, 500, 700 people just like
singing it.
And there's drinks going everywhere and they're loving it. I'm just like, this is the best bit, only because I have to play just kick drum through it all. And
My best memory of that is when we did it at Hota and I had everyone doing the flashlights doing these ones. There was thousands of people doing this. I was thinking, this is my song now.
That's what I mean. Like, you got to be him for that little moment. You got to do that.
Well, as a performer, the way I see it is, like Saia said, you learn the foundation of the song.
Yeah.
As a cover artist.
Yeah.
It's good to know the foundation, the original song.
Yeah.
And then when you get to it, then you can play with that song.
Yeah.
But still have respect for the song to be what it is and don't do too much of that song to kill the actual song. Just always remember the foundation. And then once you're going to sing it and give it to the world, do it your way as an artist. Yeah. But still have respect for the song and remember what the lyrics are.
Yeah. Look, I'm a strong believer that...
You got a drink thing? You now iPad Sam.
I've got two things on.
I'm a strong believer that the music industry can be treated like any profession. Yeah. Construction. I mean, you're a tradie, right?
No.
Well...
Everyone's going to be texting me, bro, I got an inspection tomorrow. Can you come and fit me?
You're a retired tradie, right? Through your experience as a tradie, you've got to first obviously get educated. You've got to learn your stuff. You've then got to buy your tools. You've then got to go out and do all the crappiest jobs and get yelled at and do all of the shitty shit.
Which I think is very important that everyone goes and does that.
They do that.
Yeah.
Then, only then, can you maybe go out and start doing your own stuff. But even then, you can't even, you know, you need reputation, you need all that stuff before you're a real tradie, right? You got to go through that whole process. I think people don't realize that that's the same as being a musician. You cannot skip and jump things. Like the cover artist, like you said, it's a part of that journey.
Because they see, like, you know, because shows do that. And it puts this thing in people's head where they think, oh, I can just jump on a show, never do nothing before, and then all of a sudden selling records. Like it's very hard, man. It's actually not how it is. Like it's hard yakka.
Yeah. And look, it's hard yakka in a good way. I should say that. It's hard yakka in a good way because you'd rather be doing that than carrying bricks, right? Oh, that's what we just spoke about, bro, for sure. Man, like I personally, my personal opinion, I think that these shows are the reason why the music industry is pretty ruined. I find crowds are like they're the judges on The Voice, and you know you've got a blast, and then they like, and you're like, what is this all about? You know, and I think it's changed the DNA of audiences to be judges instead of being listeners.
Yeah,
and to me that's a problem.
Yeah.
Man, like you're not meant to judge. You're meant to listen. You're meant to enjoy it. You're meant to listen to the story and the originality, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think there's a lot of things. That's one factor. I think there's a lot of things that have changed. Going back to what I said before with bands and why it changed to like mini disc and all that. I think home entertainment becomes so good as well. Mm. Like before then, what else did you do? You just have to just go out and, you know, and there's a band playing. What other form of entertainment was there back in the day? You know, now there's home entertainment so good now, and there's just so many more things to do.
Spotify, accessibility.
And so that's one factor. The other one is these things.
Yeah.
Like people started listening through this. So music changed, you know, like trap and
for
all
those that aren't watching these things as phones.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Phones. And so people like, look at the kids. That's how they listen to music. You know, they listen to it as phones. So then sonically music had to change.
Yeah.
So people could actually hear music through their phones. So we, and as I always say, you are just a reflection of society. So wherever society is going, that's what you're reflecting. So if the means of how we listen to music changes, we're going to change how we perform to reflect to what's going on at that time. So music will change to adapt to things that are going on. The essence of music's still there, but the sonically things are changing. Hence why there's no huge rock bands and all that coming through at the moment, because that's a lot of reasons for that to come through, why that's changing. That's why people are coming out with just rapping and trap, because you can hear that through your phones.
Yeah.
Not that I like it all, but it's just all changing.
Yeah.
And so that's a huge thing that's happening.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why listeners. So I went to watch that Fisher show down at where was it? Crumbin? Yeah,
that small show. He's got a studio there. Yeah,
Coolangatta. Yeah,
they call it the big one?
The big one. Yeah. Out to lunch, something like that.
Yeah.
A couple of mates are playing as well. It was pretty good, but I don't really, because I'm not in that scene. But I went there because I just I like the energy of things. One thing I did notice though is that I haven't seen I hadn't witnessed before, is that you got these DJs playing, and then I noticed everyone's just in their own group doing their own thing. Like I remember, and I think about, I was like, man, when I was watching concerts, everyone's watching a stage and watching every performer do their thing, and there's dances and there's so much going on. So that's, the listeners completely changed because of what's being presented as well. Yeah.
And do you think like on that journey of change that's happened in the industry, do you think it's good or bad?
I think it just is what it is, bro.
I felt like
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And do you think that...
But you as an artist and ourselves, we'll just adapt to it.
Yeah. You have to survive, right?
Yeah, you do. And that's what we do.
That's why like you hear like Cher was the master at recreating her sound, you know? And then she's still relevant now, right? Yeah. You can play Believe in any crowd and they're still going to be like, yeah, because she adapted. And I think that's the truth. It's like survival of the fittest out here, you know? You have to stay fit.
Yeah. You have to believe in yourself. And I always say it to everyone, like if you as an artist, you gotta believe yourself as an artist. And artists are innovative.
Yeah.
So, and from anything, you're not just music, to club owners.
Yeah. Like
we're artists, so we're innovative. So something's going on. We can think outside the box. How do we make this happen? That's, so that's...
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. How about yourself, man? You got anything to throw in on that?
No, I think he covered it pretty well, eh?
He's doing a good job here, eh? Far out.
That's like always the hype man in the background, bro.
He's like, I've been waiting all my life for this microphone.
Yeah, no, I see it the same thing. Like, you know, how everyone says, rap's not the same as what it used to be and this and that.
Yeah.
For me, it's not about that. That's what it's evolved into. Like, you know, we've had our time for that time.
Yeah.
And then it changes. And it's either you follow the wave or you just stick to what you know or what you remember.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck there. You know what I mean? And you see how all the younger generation, younger kids, they're just looking for that new sound.
Yeah.
They are.
And once you find that new sound, or once they find something so different that they haven't heard, that's what they'll record.
Yeah.
And then they'll just see how that one goes. You know what I mean? And then once everyone hears, oh, that was a cool sound, then you hear it everywhere. That kind of same kind of similar happening sound. And that's what becomes the new trend. So I think that's when the wave starts going that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's either, like I said, you either stay back to where you love that 90s hip hop or something like that, or you follow that trend and go with where it flows.
And only time can tell that, eh? Because I remember like Red Hot Chili Peppers back in the 90s was like a bit rebel music. Now it's pop music, right?
Fully is, yeah.
It's fully pop, you know, like you know, if you sang Red Hot Chili Peppers on the back of Justin Bieber, it'll hold its weight. But
that's right.
Back in the 90s, it was like,
oh man, that Blood Sugar Sex Magic album came
Yeah.
out. Oh, this thing is. I was just like, man, this is blasphemy.
But now there's probably like rules and regulations of what you can put on the radio now, hey?
yeah. Well, on that note, like, so who are your big influences? What outside of being around music, what did you have a genre you loved first, or sort of multi-genred, or what's your journey with as a listener?
I think as a listener,
Or as an inspiration?
Well, man, it's changed so much because my dad was into jazz fusion, so that was his thing. So my brother and I grew up listening, like, you know, all jazz fusion guys, Chick, and I was listening to drummer dudes like Weckl and Chambers and Gad, all the guys from back in that era. And that was kind of the music we all listened to, and then we'd listen to wherever those guys would go play, like their bands that they would session for and stuff like that. But, you know, as a kid, you want to be a little bit rebellious, you know, so then you want to listen to music your parents don't. You don't realize that at the time, but you want to kind of push out and do your own thing and find your own voice. So then I was listening to everything from Cannibal Corpse to TLC to just trying to find, you know, and then Tupac come through and I was like, oh man, this guy is the shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and all that. And then so, yeah.
I still got to get my puck fix every couple months, you know. Sometimes I forget, but then I'm like, yeah. I was showing my wife. My wife doesn't listen to hip hop. She's from Turkey. And she's like, what's up with all this Diddy stuff? And I went, Diddy's been involved in this since way back. And she's like, what? And then you know.
Oh, that was it.
That's why you fat mother. You know, and she's like, what is this song? Exactly.
First
Bad
up.
Boy Killers, you know what I mean? Like, it's
I
like,
love that song. Every time I'm at the gym and they've got like a Spotify thing and you can like choose your own songs, there's heaps of old crew now. I'm like, hit them up. And then I'll watch them or watch the video like,
yeah, man. Look, I think that's another thing as well, is that there was a journey. There was a journey back in the days of searching for new music and hearing the backstories, you know, going like, oh, Biggie and Tupac, they're in a feud, you know. Now it seems manufactured a little bit, but then they were gangsters, bro. They were like,
absolutely.
Obviously.
Yeah, there's a real funny thing that Family Guy does this thing of like, Peter Griffin was like, you know, there's rappers come into our house. He goes, wait a minute, 90s rappers or 80s rappers? And then so 80 goes, cuts the scene to 80s rappers like Vanilla Ice and all that, and 90s rappers, they just kick the door down, start shooting.
yeah, and what do they do now?
Yeah, exactly.
Rat each other out. Something like that.
Drink lean.
yeah. But I mean, that's changed because of this, you know, the society's changed, you know, because of social media. So everything's changed because of that. So, man, things just the bulk of it. I mean, you still get the dudes like Kendrick and all that, you know, or Kanye, who just does his own bloody thing. So
Kanye's,
he's probably my favorite now,
is,
just
bro.
because he's so radical.
Yeah, and he's real. And I don't really believe much these days. Like, I don't want to get into conspiracies and stuff, but there's, you know about the deep fakes and stuff. And it's just hard to believe what you're seeing with your eyes on socials, because they can just pull that out of their ass whenever they want.
Yeah.
They can, if we had the technology, we could make you Kanye, and I'm sitting there talking to Kanye, but I'm not, So I try and not listen to too much.
Yeah.
Of what's going on, because actually when you listen to some of his real interviews, he's pretty switched on, man, and he does know what's going on.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah,
and he's tied up with a lot of contracts, and when you sort of shake that tree, they're gonna want to crucify him.
He wouldn't be where he is if he wasn't switched on. That's for sure.
He knows what's up.
He knows how to, I guess, manipulate the media and everything.
Yeah. I can see I see where people say that they don't. They get offended by him and stuff, but I think they're just not. They got to let those walls down and just listen to him, because he ain't controlling our life. So just like, if you just actually listen to him, you're like, oh man, he is a bit of a nutter, but it's like he's just calling shit what he believes, and I respect that.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't think you need to love the person. That's another thing you got to speak about. That's
exactly right.
It's the music you love. Like when people talk about Michael Jackson and all that controversy. Well, Elvis was doing the same shit.
Yeah, he was.
But you don't. Who gives a shit what they're doing when their mic's down? It sounds really bad, because it's like, I don't want to enable bad behavior in the music industry, and I think that needs to also stop. But at the same time, it's like you don't need to love the person, And we're only humans, bro. Like,
that's right. There's a whole thing, that comedian thing that was going on for a bit when Bill Cosby came out with all those things, which was pretty fucked up. But people were like, I can still listen to his comedy because I still find him funny. I find him funny as a comedian, but the rest of his life. But then there was a whole thing going on, like, but can you listen to him now knowing what he's like as a person?
Yeah.
And that whole controversy thing was going on. And it was actually a really good question that was brought up. And
you can say that with a lot of artists.
But that's exactly right. And then it just become now just shadowing everyone. Like, there's dirt thrown on everyone.
Cancel culture.
There's cancel culture.
I mean, what do you think about the cancel culture, bro? Don't say anything, you might get cancelled.
Fuck the cancel culture.
I reckon, man. You can't look. You can't change your past. We're human. We live on a timeline where we make mistakes and we learn from them. And to hold that mistake way back here over your head, like sort of blackmailing you, that's not fair, man. And that's not right. There's something wrong there,
Yeah.
You have to forgive, you have to forgive people and realize that people make mistakes. I mean, if they repeat the mistakes,
Yeah, absolutely.
then maybe you can cancel them. But
And I've been through that, because I've had a few addictions and been rehabilitated a couple of times with things, and some crew hold it against you and some people don't. But at the end of the day, it's what you want to stick to and what you believe about yourself.
Yeah. Cancel culture it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing, man. But look, man, like, so on your journey, like, have you seen? I don't know if you knew about this, but last year, it was last year or the year before, 2022, I think it was. There's 4,000 venues in Australia, all right? 1,200 of them closed last year. So out of the 4,000, 1,200 gone, which obviously have seen the zoos shut down, all that sort of stuff. You've been through a few. Swinging safaris no longer there, and we're seeing a decline in spaces where we can be performers. What do you got? What do you got to chime in on that? Like, being all through your experience. Like, is there anything that you can see that maybe impacts those venues or?
Well, yeah, rent increases. That's one of them for sure.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people that I've spoken to, especially after COVID, with all the hike of properties.
Yeah,
landlords wanting more rent. So a lot of these places their rent's going through the roof, and they're already not getting enough people through the door. And there's just so much out there now, and there's just every week there's something out going on. So there's and I think times are getting tougher for people as well for spending that disposable income. So I think there's a lot of factors that go hand in hand, but I think you just get back to what I was saying is, like, if you are an artist and you can innovate through things and make, look at here, doing a podcast and this, beautiful space. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You just got adapted to different things and keep moving. And, you know, what the bro was saying to me about the TVs, you know, seeing that and putting that on, like there's just adapting and constantly changing all the time. It's great ideas.
Yeah.
But if you just stay there and be like, you know, this is how it is, I think it's going to,
Yeah, you can't.
that's no disrespect to anyone who's struggled and done things. And, you know.
Yeah, man. How about yourself, man? Like through all your years?
My approach is more of the, like Saia was saying, it's more of the money side of things, you know, like rent and things like that, because economy and how it's going.
Yeah.
And how, you know, if you own a property, mortgages go up, so you got to charge people higher, and that's because the banks are on you to do that. Yeah. And being from a banking background, I understand how all that works. And I've had clients that had to put up their rent even though they didn't want to, and just because their monthly repayments are higher. Yeah. So they have no choice, you know, but to put that rent higher for that person who's leasing the place. And it's sad to see, but only the government can fix that, you know what I mean, at the end of the day.
It's like I don't know when this is going to get released or anything, so I won't say the name, but it's like the music shop here on the Goldie, why they're shutting down is because of rent increase, you know?
Yeah.
And they just can't afford to keep that going. So, and that's a huge thing going now that people are so used to seeing every day. Music, you know, there's a, you know, instrument shop. It's just, there's lessons there. There's all that. So.
Is GC Music?
No.
Okay.
They're doing good.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, oh, you might know something I don't know. Which obviously you do. So it's another music show.
They're doing good. The boys there are legends.
Look, obviously there's this relationship. It's a business relationship, right? Like we can say all day long, we love the music, we love the emotions it brings and all that stuff. I get it, you know, and that's all good. But let's be honest, we're put in venues for a specific business purpose. We are in the service industry, and when they put us into the music, into a venue like Den Devine and stuff, it's great to have all the passions, but we've got to try and keep people here for the long term. Yeah. We have to do things, right? Like we can impact the industry. We can be drunk and make people get turned off from music industry. Make people, I don't want to come to that again. Mm-hmm. We can show up professionally and all that sort of stuff. So from your perspective and being in so many venues that you've been in, what do you think we can do as artists to improve the business dynamic for the venues we go into?
Yeah, this is you know, networking is a big thing. I remember I was and I still am now, believe it or not, like I'm a full hermit, right? I actually hate being out and about, even though Taylor probably doesn't think that. I talk to everyone, but inwardly I freaking hate it, right? But I remember I used to do these gigs, and my wife, she used to say to me, you can't, after every break, you can't just disappear. You and the band just disappear. You need to get out there and talk to the people. They're coming watching you, and it's going to help the venue as well, because then the people will feel connected to you, and then the venue will be like, well, the boys are actually getting out there and talking and, you know, making people feel like their vibes, so people will come back next week and I'll come back next week. And that was a huge lesson for me, because I'd always disappear and hide. I didn't want to talk to anyone because I just felt like, I've just given you all my energy. I got nothing left. Yeah. I had to really switch my brain around to just compartmentalize, and then after it go out there and then force the rest of the band to go out. And that made a huge difference. And then everyone started feeling like they were part of it, they're part of the scene there. And
they want to come back.
And then I tell a friend, oh, they're so good, like, because I feel like they know you now. So they're like, man, he was the man, and I love it. And, you know, you might have had a shit performing night too. But in their head, they're just like, you've spent time with them, you've given it, so they were coming back. They're bringing more friends, and that venue gets, you know, it puts that venue more on the map, and then the venue owners are happy, and then there's a better relationship there. So I think networking with the people that come and see you is it's huge.
Do you know, there's a podcast that I was listening to for a bit. It was called The Music Industry Blueprint, and it was the original manager for Taylor Swift, right before, like all the way up till she went huge. He was there with her. And one thing I remember is that he said that all the way to stadiums, Taylor Swift will always meet every single person, and still now does this.
Yeah, I did hear that, yeah.
And there's a reason why she's the way she is. It's not just, you know, people say it's art versus science. there's definitely a science to
There is, yeah.
bringing the music industry alive, and that's through, you can learn from these people, you know, like meeting people, networking, not being so up yourself, and just, you know, you got to get out there. You got to get out there and talk to people and make people want to come back, like you said, you know. Not saying you were up yourself, but
if you're a massive artist and you're up yourself, you're just going to be a flash in the pan, because eventually people will eventually go, I don't want to work with you. I don't want to, and they just like, I don't want to have that person on my bill, and it eventually comes around. So they'll have their time up the top,
yeah,
but it won't be long lived. I mean, look how long Taylor Swift's freaking legacy. I mean,
there's lots of people wanting her to fall, but she ain't gonna fall.
No way.
No.
No way.
Bro, I sing some Taylor Swift in my set, and I'm like,
that's amazing.
She's got some good songs, man. Like, she does. There's no doubt about it, you know. One of her songs actually helps me in every gig. I'm telling you, and I can just admit this. Every time I sing.
What song's that?
Shake It Off.
Shake it off.
And as stupid as it sounds, but I make my own version out of it. And if I'm having a bad night, or some audiences are just bad audiences, you know, they're not bad audiences, but they're in the, whatever it is, you know, it's been too hot and they're in a sunstroke and they're not feeling the vibe, or whatever it may be. And if I'm feeling like there's no reciprocation, I'm just like, but I keep cruising, can't stop, won't stop, you know what I mean? I just get straight into that. I'm like, better shake it off, you know, and it's just what I do. And I'm like, I ended up shaking it off, and then I'm all good. I come back, you know. So you might be jealous of her, or you might hate her, but
That's just super well.
there's a reason why she's Taylor Swift. There's a reason why Ed Sheeran's Ed Sheeran. There's a reason why the people at the top.
Absolutely.
Are, and it's because that's what we're talking about, man. We're trying to bring that ethos into these spaces.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't be that without this, bro.
Well, they all started
somewhere.
It all started in here.
Started in these,
And this is what we're forgetting. We're forgetting this is what forges the Ed Sheerans, Taylor Swifts, even the Beatles, man. You know, they used to play in. He used to busk, you know.
Yeah.
Elvis, I think, used to busk. You know. It's really interesting to think about.
And that's why we say it's very important within like the networking side of things as well. Because I bet you those guys was playing in a place like this, and there was someone in the crowd that knew someone in that probably industry and said, "Hey, look, let's do this," and then probably led into that.
Yeah,
that's how I see it.
I think people have to stop being too cool for things.
Oh, definitely.
Because you can talk to some people. Dan, just before when I came in, there was some country artist here, and he's like, "Oh, I'm the best country artist," and da 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 da. Anyway, Dan said to him, "Okay, well, come to an open mic," and he goes, "No, I don't do that." And I was like, "Well, why? You could inspire some upcoming artist." Yeah. I think you should come to open mics. I think you should come to small venues that are a little bit out there.
Open mics to me was one of the most important things in my life when it came to networking with musicians. Even in Brisbane, when back in the days when they had the jam nights,
they have a good open mic here, man.
Yeah,
really good one here.
Early 2000s, yeah. Tuesdays they do open mics here. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I used to go to the open mics all the time every Tuesday night back in Caxton Street in Brisbane, and just having the musicians there having fun every Tuesday night. Obviously Tuesday night musicians don't have much to do on that night, so we were just having fun playing and just enjoying the night. Really
pre-kids, right? That's pre-kids.
Yeah, pre-kids at that time.
No, it's bedtime. Gee, I got to get them all down at 6:30.
Yeah, and just from those jam nights, I ended up doing like a tour with some of the guys, like in Cairns, Rockhampton, and you know, just being around that kind of vibe in a sense. Is if you want to live that life, then be around it.
Yeah,
it's really that simple.
Yeah,
some people say, "How do I get into the industry? How do I start doing a gig? How do I do this?" Go to a jam night. Go to open mic, because those guys that are on the open mic or playing actually do it for real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
that's one thing I like about like one of Dan's ethoses here is that he crafts them through the open mic night. So when people are, I want a gig there, you got to come to an open mic night. I got to see how you are, and I think that's a great tool.
I like that too.
Really good tool, because it's sort of like, well, put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, it weeds it out a bit too. Yeah,
and you can cut and paste heaps of shit from all your gigs. You know, but how are you going to be right in front of me for that 15 minutes? That's going to tell you a lot about someone, how they are as a musician. Yeah, and are they just here? Do they just do the song and then just disappear? That's going to matter.
Yeah.
Because another thing about, you know, being on some lineups, I'm sure you've been on a few, like, do you hang around after you've done your set? Sometimes you got to go to another gig. I get when you're a corporate act. I get it. But do you try?
The last one before I left, Lee, I think we did like 5 shows in one day, and I could only do 3. But it was literally just like, got to go, next one. During set breaks, had to go to the other gig, and then they come back. It was like things like that. You can't, but nah, you should do. You need to like.
See, look, it's a humble man right here.
Man, sometimes I'm just It all depends. It was real funny. Sometimes Taylor looks after kind of all the
Taylor Swift.
She looks after everything. Shout out to Taylor.
Shout out Taylor. Auntie T,
who's sitting down there. You can't see her.
Well, we can put a camera right.
Oh,
yeah,
love that. She
loves cameras. She loves cameras.
Get a camera over there.
Hey, there it is. Auntie T. Hey,
ladies and gentlemen, this is Taylor.
Taylor, give us a wave.
Yeah.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Look at the 3 phones out. So she's
3 phones,
selling
a laptop, and she's writing the to-do list.
She's all over it.
All over it.
Without her, I'd be screwed.
Well, let's talk about this then. So let's talk about the relationship. So I've never met Taylor, and I'm assuming Taylor's management.
Yeah, that's what you say.
Saia, Hanlon Brothers, 42 band, all of it.
The whole works.
More so me. Just me and my ADHD.
Yeah.
Because I'm always like, we got to do all this and all this. She's like, well, relax, mate. Let's just stick to last year's plan. No, she looks after all that type of stuff. I think what was happening is I noticed with myself is that I'll always have different ideas and trying to push for different things. I'll keep and I'll just start new things. And eventually I was like, I just need help.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing for myself. So for years I was looking for someone, and Taylor kind of just fell into it, AT.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then she started helping out with the school, and then with the band first, and then the school, and all of a sudden she was just there full time. So
cool. Cool. That's good. So it's good to know that, you have to ask for help. You can't do everything.
No one can, man.
Yeah. With Hanlon Brothers though, were you the business guy? Did you share the load?
Yeah, my brother and I share the load.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Omer and I, we kind of share the load. I think it's a funny thing. Thing is with us, we're so, I guess, impulsive. Well, I definitely am. And so I guess when it comes to music, it kind of, our biggest thing with that place, to be completely honest, was with Hanlon Brothers, was keeping to the same. So we had this interview with Warner once, and the dude tells me, he called me up. I was in Sydney, coming for a meeting, or went for a meeting, and his thing was like, look, man, I just want to hear a couple of back-to-back albums of the same vibe, same thing going through. Then we can talk. That was this huge thing, and that was the best advice I ever got. Because previously then I was doing like, my brother and I'd be like, we're done now, because it's so like time, and after 3 months I'm like, fuck, I'm done. We got to do something else.
Yeah.
So we already made a sound and made a team. Like I would pick people in to come in to make a sound because I envisioned that in my head. So we would make team write songs. So we got thousands and thousands of songs just vaulted away. And I'm just like, because we were just like, let's have writing things. We do this. We're going to have improv nights. We'll just keep banking things away.
Yeah.
This is the sound. I want that person to bring that sound in. But we would stay with it and they'd be like, all right, I'm done now. Next thing, next sound, next thing. So it would never get like we were talking about Kanye before, right?
Yeah.
Like Kanye couldn't just go out of the gates the way he is.
No.
He brought 3 albums out. We're just like, holy fuck, this guy knows what he's doing.
Oh, bro.
Then 808s come out, which everyone's like, oh, you're singing, and now look at all the rappers, they all sing, do that, right? And that was everyone was like, oh, and then he could do whatever he wants. So he's already solidified himself.
Yeah.
And so that was what the Warner crew said to us. It was like, that's what you need to do. You need to solidify your sound. Once you've got those core fans, then go and do your own thing.
Yeah.
So that was probably the biggest thing for my brother and I, because we would have live improv albums where it was just like, oh, it's just fun for us. Plus there's no rehearsals. So
yeah,
you didn't have to pay rehearsals, all that type of shit that we were just thinking about. Well, we'll just get really good players and we'll just make shit up.
Yeah.
So we do that. We had different MCs and we went to singing, went back to R&B. And then when our brother finally joined, and he joined for Blues Fest down in Byron, we were like, this is our sound. We got this going. And then that was like, okay, we're going to do albums off this. But then COVID hit. So then we pulled everything back.
Yeah, man, COVID, big C.
Big C.
The big C.
Big Posca.
Big C. Man, like, so, yeah, we definitely going to get into that part from COVID onwards to where we are now. But before we get into that, I want to push the envelope a little bit here. And I know it's a bit of a taboo topic, and we don't have to go into this hypersensitive details of things. And I'm not talking about anything crazy here. What I want to ask you about is ways that artists can value themselves versus the industry value, right? And what I'm here talking about is, you know, when we obviously talked about covers and originals, which are two different industries. I'm specifically talking about covers when people are just coming to the industry. You know, they've got those industry standards, $100 an hour. That's what everyone's sort of saying what it is. But then someone comes in and, you know, I've personally have had a friend of mine who charged $200 an hour and he knew like 6 songs. And one of them he forgot. And that venue lost so much trust in artists. So what I'm coming to is how is the best way for an artist to value themselves without overvaluing themselves, without impacting the industries and trust in venues.
Is it monetary value themselves?
Monetary value, 100%. 100%. We're going there, man.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I thought you were going to push on somewhere else.
That's
right. Not really.
We're going there too.
That's okay.
Look, just the sort of preface here on that is like, that's what we want to get into the hard conversations, is to be honest and raw.
You need to have reputation, what you said before. If you got reputation, then you can start pushing prices. But the thing is with me is I know for a fact that I'm probably the most expensive person, or the most expensive like band.
But you're Saia Hanlon and I'm Hanlon. There's a reason why, man. Like no.
Well, it's
100%. It's value, bro.
There's there's so many years before that of like grinding. You just need to be trusted by
the industry.
Trusted by the industry.
Yeah.
And then once you start doing it, you can push it. In saying that, man, there's so many times as well where I'll do a gig where it's a new person, a new event agency coming through that I haven't worked and got a rapport with them yet, that I'll do things like at 50%.
Yeah.
Just to get, I mean, it's still a lot more than the usual, but I'll take cuts and I'll go in there to be like, this is the thing that I'll do to do this, and then eventually I'll put it back up.
Yeah.
But you just got to work it as it goes, and you just got to build, and you got to read the room, man, like you do on stage. Like,
yeah,
I wouldn't come in here and charge the prices because, first of all, Dan would be like, you'd fucking joke at me.
You have to sell all his cameras and TV. I just got the cameras.
but then in my head, I'll do it. You just read the room and be like, oh, bro, don't worry about it. Just put me on the tab and just, whatever. Like, you got to
be relevant.
You got to be relevant, man. You got to work with people, because the last thing you want to do is him going, fuck those guys came in here and then
There's not a one size fits all.
Nah. And I think that's the
thing.
And
you have to be smart about it.
Yeah.
Correct.
So you can't just go and be like, yeah, I'm $200 an hour, and like do like old mate did that you were saying, like
what makes you $200 an hour, boy?
And know 6 songs.
Yeah. Well,
what have you done that I haven't seen?
And that's the thing is that
go in, you kick ass, and then the next time you go in, you go, I'm this much.
Yeah.
So they go, oh fuck, they were pretty good.
So this is the thing, right? Is like there's a line, man. There's a line. There's the one line where you're the musician, and then there's the other line where you're the product.
Yeah.
And if you don't know the difference, you start doing stupid things out there, because you start going, yeah, I'm worth $1 million. Of course, when I go to sleep, tell my wife's like, baby, you're worth $1 million. That doesn't mean nothing,
My mom said so.
My mom said so, you know what I mean? And of course, you should value yourself, but you need to be objective with your value.
Yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely, bro. I say this all the time to people all the time. I'm like, I say this to my wife all the time. I was like, look, every day I wake up and look in the mirror, I'm like, I'm a fucking 10. But in real life, I'm like, I'm actually a 6. But I know that. But I'm cool with that. But you want to know and go, I'm the fucking man.
Yeah.
But you also need to know, you want to feel like you're the man, but you also need to know, I'm not really the man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, amongst my peers, like I'm just another Joe Blow, but that's how you have to
the music
compartmentalize that.
The music industry is like prison, outside of prison. You might be the strongest motherfucker out there, but when you're in there, you're just another man in there.
Another dude,
and in the music industry, it's like you might be cool in your home. You might be able to play Wonderwall and all your family members like, wow, you're so amazing. Right. But you jump up on stage with Saia Hanlon and you jump on there and you really start seeing your worth, It's true, man. Like that's I give props to you, man. Like you are one of the best drummers that's definitely on the Gold Coast and probably
definitely on this chair.
But see, that's a part of it as well. Man, no, like I can attest. I've seen you play a few times, man. Like you've crafted your craft. That's the truth of it, man.
Thanks.
That's 100% the truth of it. I haven't seen you, but you're by association. By association,
I like to work with this
That's
guy.
enough there, man. That's exactly like that's where I want to get to with this conversation. Is that it's to break through the bullshit and for people to stop bullshitting themselves and stop, because I think that's where the leeches of the industry are, that's dropping the value of music. Is the ones out there who are like overconfident, who they can't look in the mirror, they don't really know much, and they're out charging crazy amounts, and then the venue takes a punt on them, fucks them up, fucks the crowd up, then they get cold feet on trying to book another muso.
Yeah, but that's I know, I hear what you're saying, man, but you got to be like what you said about Dan over there before. Like you got to, like he has a weeding out process.
Yeah.
Come through the, you as a venue owner, you still got to be, he's obviously got a head between his shoulders because you got to still think about these things.
Yeah.
You ain't just going to be like, yeah, bro, come through. Like, because that's your reputation. They're your people. They're your, like, that's.
Yeah.
So a venue to do that is also, it's also on them as well, for allowing that to happen.
Yeah.
Instead of going like, jump on this jam night, bro, first, but we'll see, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, this is great, man. I've like really enjoyed where we've gone with these conversations, bro. Like it's been really good, like insightful. We're only halfway through.
I was a bit worried this morning. I was just like, what am I talking about? I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's all right, man. That's my job.
He's gonna bring up my addictions again.
Nah, man. Like,
which I don't care, but yeah,
it's
the industry gives that to you, bro.
Yeah, man. Like it's muso to muso, man. Like the core of me is I'm a musician. I'm a dad. I want my kids to be a musician, and I believe that if I can make the industry a better place for them, that's what it's about, man. And that's what this conversation's about. Is it's not about beating the dead horse. It's not about going, oh, this is the problem. No, man, it's not about that. It's about, okay, like being mindful of some of the issues and what we can do and what everyone can do in their own power, in your business, to improve the industry, to make it better and safer for everyone, and that's what it's about, man. So, like I would always guide it that way. I'm not going to blindside you or anything like that. It's not what that's not me, bro.
Bro, you can blindside me. I'm cool with it. Actually, probably gets my ADHD or like liking that shit.
Well, you've brought up the what's going on? Two. Oh, okay.
The weather
it's back
outside
on.
is frightful.
Cool. We are only about halfway, maybe 3/4 through, but I just wanted to take that little moment to just say, bro, it's been this far, vulnerable, real, raw, some good stuff in there, man.
That's good, bro.
Yeah, for sure. All right, now we go into the next half.
Yep.
We go into the next half now, right? The industry is obviously made up venues, artists, fans. This is the trinity, what makes us. When you get those three right on, bang on, that's where magic happens, right? If you get those three, like when you walk into a venue like the Beach Hotel, they look after you, they love you, you feel like I'm gonna rock this tonight, and then then the audience comes in, they're like getting excited, boom, magic happens. But obviously sometimes we have to encourage that magic, right? So we've gone into the details of artists. I want to ask you from an artist perspective, what makes you feel I want to give this my all? What makes you feel I'm not really that happy with how I've been treated here? And what can venues do better?
I've seen it.
to accommodate for you to bring your A game?
I gotta compartmentalize right now.
We're asking all the hard questions here, man.
Look, it's just been easygoing. Everything has to be just easygoing.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't demand too much, but also when things happen, see, like for instance, like Beachy on a weekend, we've got a few things. Sorry, Taylor. So we forgot a few major things to the setup. Hey, Taylor. And so
now I get it. Now I get it because I got a phone call saying, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "I'm nearly there." She's like, "Fuck." And I was like, hold on, either this or she forgot something somewhere that I needed to be close to.
So the thing with them is straight away, they were just like, okay, how can we help? What do you need? We need X, Y, and Z. Yep, no worries. And then I were on a hunt. Send Taylor's like, you got to go back home. You got to go back home and grab stuff. So she was jumping in the car, went. They were just all like, yeah, it's okay. Oh yeah, we found something. Just tell her to go there and she can pick this up and then come back. And then interface wasn't there. I'm like, where the fuck's the interface? I told them like, no, we'll get something that works out. It just made it like, all right, this is, which that doesn't really happen. Yeah. We don't actually forget anything. But when things happen like that, it's just that shows your character of like from everyone of like how smooth can you make things.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be all right. We'll work this out and get through it. Yeah. And that makes you super more comfortable. Like, oh, this is.
When a venue just looks after you and helps you out, like, supports you in your endeavors, or if something goes wrong, they're like, it's all good.
Yeah, but you can't be like, oh, I'm fucking off my chops. Have you got any rack to sober me up or some shit like that? Like, you can't ask that from the venue owner. I mean, it depends if you're full boys with them. But you know what I mean? Like, you just can't, like, that's really starting to push the envelope.
Yeah. Look, that's the, there's this old paradigm of music. We're trying to come into a new, more... the industry is just different now. So, maybe back in the 90s, easy as you can do that. But today's world,
back then,
there's not enough cocaine in the world to support these musicians.
You know what? The funny thing is that it's completely changed. It's full clean now. Like everyone's on the clean buzz and no alcohol and gymming. And
the only bums in my green room are changing nappies. That's their new muso now, we all got kids.
Actually, yeah, that's right. So sometimes when we do shows, like I always I take my boy with me, right? And Taylor then becomes a babysitter. So she'll be side stage, like we'll be at the Star or somewhere. So we're doing a huge corporate gig. It's like 1,000 people in the venue. My son will sometimes jump up. He'll jump up and
take over the show.
Take over the show. He loves it. And I like doing that because I like for him, as a side note, to get comfortable of what we do and be comfortable with on stage with people.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like there's people, but he takes it on his stride, doesn't he? So like we did. Noel was bringing up a story to talk about him for 2 seconds. We were doing this story, this show, for Tom and Ruth, the mayor, and their Aussie Day party. His Aussie Day party. So we're doing.
Was that at Hota?
At Hota, yeah.
Yeah.
And then packed, right? It was packed to the walls. They reached capacity.
Well, it is for the mayor.
Yeah. And then so Rhythm, he lost his tooth. He was trying to hustle the mayor at the back for money for his tooth, right?
Tooth fairy.
So he's hustling the mayor back there to get money out of him. And then so I'm playing along, right? I'm playing along the stage, and then literally there might have been 3,000-4,000 people. I'm not too sure. It's just all a blur. And then Rhythm just comes running on stage. I can see Taylor like, oh my God, he just walks on stage. Like, and he just walks up and he's like, Dad, there's no pink lemonade left in the fridge.
And this is in front of like 3,000 to 5,000 people, yeah?
Yeah. And so I control like the stems and everything too. So I'm controlling stems, controlling the band. There's a crowd there. And I'm just like, I don't know, go ask Taylor boy. Go do something. Hey, you see, I'm busy right now.
And you're up there on just far out.
And so many people just panic on that stuff. But I'm like, but it's just, you don't need to panic.
Yeah.
It's just, it is what we're still all people.
Yeah.
So that's his lot. And then the week after that, we think we did the Irwins. We did Australia Zoo. So we did an Irwins party. Yeah, the Irwins. And he's up there trying to lead, everyone. Nutbush. Remember? I'm just like this guy. So, and then we have to put him to bed. So there's a blow-up mattress. So we throw it at the back and he goes in the green room and falls asleep and the crowd goes wild. But yeah, that's how much it's changed.
Yeah.
like before then it'd just be like groupies in the back and, you know, and just
You're like, you got any
randoms
white
and-
stuff? And they're like, what do you mean? Milk, man. Milk for my kids.
You formula. I need formula.
Formula. Rack me up some formula. These kids say, yeah, man. Well, look, I think that's another important part to talk on, you know, is that change in how we can better accommodate for dads who have kids, you know, because we can't do the after parties out. I can't do after parties, man. I'm like, my wife would just kill me, you know, to try and pull the after party job. No, it's part of the job, babe. As if, even though it is, but it's a different industry, man.
You gotta pick your battles too, bro.
You gotta pick your battles.
Right?
And we have this saying, like, when it comes to performing, you know, it doesn't matter if it's 5,000 people, 100 people, or even 10. I've done performances where I had 3 people.
Yeah.
We're still going to give 80 to the 100%, you know?
Yeah.
Like, to still keep that vibe going.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
You ain't gonna lie. I always sit on about 60%.
Hey?
I ain't gonna lie. I always sit on 60%, and that's not actually because I'm sitting on 60%. Because I'm like, I just sit on a way that I know that it's
Still going to go.
it's still going to be better than everyone else, and the punters are, and that's actually what I do in my head.
No, it's-
I'm like, I'm going to perform at least better than everyone else on stage. I'm going to be that little bit better,
Yeah.
and then have room in the car where I can go, I can keep moving on this, but just get pushed. But that's what I do in my head to keep myself stimulated.
Well,
Yeah.
that's another good
And
question.
as a
Everyone's
singer,
got their
I
own
vibe
thing.
off of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You
As
need
a singer,
headroom.
I need
You
that.
need
You need
room to
headroom.
move. Because what happens if Kanye walks in on your crowd? Then you'll go, oh, now I'm going to up it to
Yeah.
not even 100 yet. I'll give you 70%. You know what I mean?
I think it's in the set list too, bro, because I always muck around on set list too. Like now I get a bit lazy because I know what works and I go through. But for a long time now, I get bored. So I'm like, I'm going to play all the bangers at the start and then see what happens at the end and see what happens in the middle and
Yeah.
just test myself of like, how am I going to turn this crowd around
Yeah.
on songs that aren't hype songs? And I'll even look at Talis and be like, what song do you want to play next? What do you want to do next? What do you reckon?
Yeah.
And so she's like, oh, looks around the crowd like, maybe you should try this one. No, I'm not doing that one, G. But we should do that. I'll lead into that one. or
And that
something
also
like
comes with experience, you know what I mean? Like, there's how many years we've been doing this stuff. When you put a song on, it could be the crappiest song, but the way that we do it,
Yeah, it's the delivery.
it's the way you deliver it.
Yeah,
And that comes with
delivery's
experience.
everything.
Delivery is everything. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
Look, man, and like back to what you're saying about, you know, you changing the set list up or turning the crowd around, right? Do you do usually 3 sets, 4 sets? 2?
Nah, normally just 2 sets, and sometimes it gets down
just
to
one
just
long
One.
one.
Like a, yeah, so.
Here's the thing: is that the boys all want to break through it, but if it's like the way I see it, if it's now 2 hours, I'm like, we're playing through. It's that point in there where I feel like it gets to a time, and this is about reading the crowd. Gets to a time where it might hit around 9:30 to 11. If you stop playing and the vibe ain't there, people are going to leave that venue.
Go straight away.
And your job is to keep
them here.
Keep Dan happy with his venue packed. So
Yeah.
you're like, fuck, I'm not taking a break. I'm going to go through to keep these people here because I've got these people engaging. And it's all those things that make you, it's like, you know, they're the little things that keep you winning, keep the venue happy, keep all that. So
you want to be an asset.
you want to be an asset.
As soon as you become a liability,
Oh, they'll piss you off.
that's been like a core principle of me.
That's
is
how we were for the
be an asset.
that beach gig we did on the hill for the surfing one. What's that called?
up at Burley Hill.
Oh, single fin, yeah.
Yeah, like how long was that set? Like maybe 3.5
When I started playing, me and brother and I, we would,
hours straight.
we had our residencies, like we were only kids, and our residency was at Pacific Fair at the, I can't remember, Jungle Cafe, if people remember that. That was way back in the day in the 90s. But we'd have no breaks.
Yeah.
And then after that, we went to fish shows when we were a little bit older, and we had no breaks then too. So all that older crew, they just would be like, we'll just play softer music in the breaks.
Yeah.
And so we just learned 4 hours is just your standard, get up there and play all the way through.
Yeah.
And then so these poor buggers were just like, 2 hours is nothing, bro. We can just high energy for 2 hours. It's like, I can see Noel, like after an hour, he's looking at me like, bro, I'm dying. I need a drink.
Like 2.5 hours gone past. I'm like, we're still on. And I'm talking like hype music, yeah?
Like hype, like all like
There's no
closing bangers.
There's
closing,
no first
no
set
fillers.
singing slow songs and going up. It's we're here and we're staying up here. if it comes down, we'll bring it back up.
And you know, man, on that valuing, that is a different value than, you know, I've done the gigs where you do the slow up, and I've done the gigs where you do the keep them up. So from my own personal experience, I ask for more money when I have to keep them up the whole 4 hours instantly. Because I'm like, you're making me work that whole 4 hours. You know, but if they're like, hey, you can do a little opener, I'm like, okay, I'll take your industry standard, you know. As soon as they say you got to be, you know,
Banging.
bro, hats off to you, man. And you know what? You want to charge it whatever the fuck you want to charge, bro. You can charge whatever you want, because you know that they're going to go back every single 5 minutes and drink and do that sort of stuff.
I'm just happy if that bar's getting pumped.
Yeah.
Which I'm not, you know, alcohol, I know it's all bad for us, but if the bar's getting pumped and the venue's happy, then they're going to be happy with us.
Yeah.
They ain't going to be worried about handing that check over on Monday.
No.
Yeah.
No, and they're going to, like, you know, come on, bro. Like, that's...
But if you take the piss, they're going to take the piss. It's just, it's common sense.
Yeah, but that's what's not common these days.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah,
I did
man.
notice that.
It's uncommon sense now, you know.
It's a good feeling when the I guess the bar owner gives you that call and says, you know, our bar did the biggest numbers it's done in the last few months, and you know, thanks to you guys. It's always a good feeling.
Yeah, it is.
For sure, man, for sure. And okay, so for the venues, for sure. Okay, so just help each other out. It's team effort, right?
It is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if something goes wrong, it's okay. Just come. You're in it together.
Or even the soundies, even the techies, everything. So when you if you're by yourself, or if you're with a full like stage, like I'll always make a point to go around, say thanks to all the soundies, the techies, just to be like thanks for being part of the whole thing.
Do you have your own soundie when you do gigs, or do you just use the house?
She was the original soundie, yeah. And then she went from that to So quick shout out. So Taylor was doing sound that night quarter. She was only like 16. Were you 16 then? 17. And
when we say sound, I mean like the whole setup, like
Like
full setup.
more stages.
drums at night quarter and Sunshine Coast,
shebang.
right? And then so what happened is that Josh was teaching her, and I went up. I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool. Like she's gonna learn how to do sound." And I didn't really think twice. And then the next time I went up, I noticed that she was by herself, and Josh would just come and just kind of shadow her and then leave. And then the third time, she was by herself, and I was like, "It sounds exactly like Josh's mix, who's been doing it for ages." And I was like, "She's just got good ears, good listener." And then I just kept watching and watching. I was like, "Man!" And then always would make time for her and talk to her. And then all of a sudden, night quarter unfortunately had to shut their doors, and then that day, or like the week leading up, I was just like, "Hey, so do you want a job?" And then she was like, "No," because I understand she was young. She's like, "No, I got some festivals I want to go to and this and that." And I was just like, "Oh no, I'm going to miss out." But that was Sunny Coast, and I'm living here in Burleigh, right? So it's like, it's a long way.
Yeah, we had a small conversation about that going back home. Like, you know, the Taylor girl, night quarter, they're closing now. We should And I was like, yeah. the yes man, yeah.
No,
we should.
And then that's it. And then I pretty much got her down to start doing sound and stuff, and then went from that. And then she moved to a
going good
place in Broady, and that was it. And then I was just like, you know, she's doing everything, but she's a soundy, and
so at least you know if you're not. Are you always on the desk?
Not always.
But you know if something's wrong, you can tell that guy, "Hey."
Oh yeah.
I try to be there, like side stage. If, for example, if it's a day where we've got lots of different gigs and we're going from gig to gig, they don't always have time to sound check. So like,
Yeah.
they'll look at me and I know when he's pointing at side, like down or up, he tracks up or down.
Yeah.
I'll be the middleman.
Cool.
Yeah.
No one who's listening would have heard that, but
Yeah, so she's
I
the
heard
one
it.
that
yeah,
pretty much does everything for us. Like we said, you know, we had a day when we had 5 gigs in a day.
yeah.
We had Taylor running around to every venue, setting up, doing the sound checks for us, make sure everything was great.
Cool.
So by the time we
Wow.
get there, we just jump on and everything's crispy, you know. And we need that, especially
Yeah.
if we're trying to jump.
It's your final piece of the
Yeah.
band is a really good soundy manager.
The best.
Yeah,
You know, like I could be on stage, I'll just look at her and she already knows what my problem is.
yeah.
She looks at my eyes and she's like, "Okay, water, that's water." She looks at
Saya's not
my
taking a break. He's looking at it like,
She sees me
Saya's not
breathing
taking a
hard.
break.
She's like, "Saya, he needs a break soon."
Man, I feel like you guys could do some awesome TikTok skits with all this. Sounds like amazing content, man. Have him there sweating.
Oh man,
go into some Michael Jackson right at the
It's so
end.
funny.
We'll go to some medley that goes for 20 minutes and he's
Yeah.
like, oh my fuck.
No, it's really like that. So sometimes,
just
we'd be like, all right, I know that we've got 5 minutes left. And I look at him, I'd be like, yeah, sweet break. And he'd be like, yeah, 2 more songs. I'm like, that'll take it over to 12, 15 or whatever it is. I'm like, let's do it. Easy, done. And then once you finish that, you look at him again and he'll be like, I'm still feeling something. All right, push it, bro.
Yeah,
Let's get it.
I'm the type of dude that I can't leave a venue until I know that I've just got it by the balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously, because
That's what it is, man.
No,
I want it.
that's really, really
I
how
want
he's
every
like.
single person in that place just to be like, one more, and then turn to the staff, the owner, like, that was the best night ever. That's in my head. That's what as a cover artist.
Yeah.
As a original artist, different. I want different things. I want them to go, fuck, that was the musicality you want. Like, it's completely different. But I have little things in my head that are standards that I'm like, I need to meet these.
Yeah. That's awesome, right? And that's a good thing for people to know out there is that's what you want, man. That's exactly what you want, And if you got to pull out the Oasis because they're not doing it, like, oh, far
Yeah,
out.
we were just talking about it yesterday. So yeah,
Pull out
be a
some
good
trump cards.
artist.
Hey, you got some trump
Yeah, you
cards.
do. You
eh?
need-
You
you
have to
gotta-
have some
yeah.
To
trump
be a
cards.
good artist, you got to really push yourself. Don't you?
Yeah, and you
can't just
save
stay
them.
where you at and just be safe.
So what's your strategy, bro? Let's talk a dead crowd. They're uppy. They don't know how to get loose. What do you do to relax them?
Oh, I hit them hard.
Yeah.
I hit them hard because it's either they're
Uptown
either
Funk,
yeah, that's a good one.
24K.
That's in there.
Yeah, they're good ones.
Yeah.
That sounds a good one. I hit them hard though because I know for the first song they're going to be like, what the hell? It's so much. But I know for a fact after 2 or 3 songs, they've got no choice but to get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it weeds it out too because some people there that aren't there to actually be part of the entertainment will go.
Yeah.
But other people are just like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I just needed that draw card to get me going. There's also time and place for stuff too. Like, you start things in the middle of the day, and they're not really on the drinks yet. It's really hard. So you need to pick songs that will make people like go, oh my God, they're doing that Tones and I song, or they're doing Shaggy, or they're doing something that's like, it catches their ears.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh man, this is rad.
Yeah.
And you can see it. So I read the crowd constantly. And once I see that they're intrigued, then I'm like, I can hit them now with shit.
Yeah.
Because I've got them in. And it only takes a couple songs, but then you can kind of feel them out.
Yeah. And yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, I know what you mean.
But if it's nighttime, we just started, I hit the ground running, bro, from the start.
Nice. You have to, man.
Yeah.
That's,
You
like,
set that tone from the start, this
Yeah.
is where we're going, and they just jump on board.
yeah.
And
for
then
sure.
they hit that bar and they come back and they D-floor and they bar and D-floor and bar and D-floor, and that's what you want.
Do you have a pre-show ritual? Something to get you in the headspace?
Yeah,
Some-
it's normally Taylor going, you're supposed to start in like 5 minutes. You got to get up there now.
Then text message, where are you? Get on stage.
Holy fuck, I do have to start. Too busy trying to work.
On the
or do
way.
something
I'm
or
outside
write
having a
something
smoke.
out. Oh, there's always something.
something going on. Yeah. And what about an after show
Nah,
sort of thing? No, you just sort of another day, another
it is another day.
gig. Yeah. Just go cool, done, boom, sweet.
Yeah,
high
once you get the
fives?
crowd, it's sweet.
Do any
you know
high
what I mean?
fives? Do any, or you just
Oh, we always say that, we always say good show to everyone and
good show to everyone?
handshakes,
Yeah.
shit like that.
Give
after.
you gratitude.
Yeah.
And what about you as a band? Do you guys do any huddles or afterwards do any like fist bumps or
Yeah, do all
if you
that.
nail it?
We'll
Yeah.
do like types.
Even if we're on stage and we think, if you, it just happens like spur of the moment. Like even when we were doing that gig, our DJ, DJ Els was with us, and just being on stage. And when you have that feeling, you just look at each other and you smile as
Yeah.
bandmates, give each other a little high five while you're singing. It just happens,
Yeah.
We have so
just
much
that vibe.
fun on stage though. That's the whole thing, and that's always been my thing. Like, is if you're having fun, the crowd will. So I've
Correct.
always had that thing with like the people that choose to be in the band. It's like they have to be like fun and like take the piss out of themselves. Like,
Yeah.
it's, like for instance, every time I look up, the boys are always dancing, and they're dancing all together. They're all doing their own dance, and it's not performed. Like we don't do any like
We don't rehearse
We don't
it.
do rehearsals. It's just like whatever the vibe's going, let's go, and we roll with it, and then the crowd rolls with it, and
Yeah.
then then they're laughing with each other, or we'll see something funny on the stage, and we'll say something to each other off stage, and we all start laughing. And the crowd like, what are they laughing about? And so it makes that, it's just not all standing there just like.
being perfect.
Just being, fuck that.
Yeah.
And all they're having just taking a piss out of each other and the crowd.
And for those that don't know, like that are listening in, and you know, maybe not from the Gold Coast or whatever, like Hanlon Brothers, you carry your weight. You've done the gigs, and when people out there going, yeah, but what gigs do they do? Because they might think that. Well, they do the gigs. They do the gigs that matter. And if you're thinking that they're not rehearsing and not getting good gigs, that's a lie. They're not rehearsing and getting the epic gigs. When you see that name, Hanlon Brothers or Footage, it's usually with a prestigious venue that I've noticed anyway. It's usually something that matters, you know?
Yeah.
So I just have to clarify that for anyone out there who's listening, you gotta have the talent to be able to pull that off as well. But the Hanlon Brothers are the real deal for sure.
Yeah, they were the real deal. We're gonna release this next album.
You're still Hanlon Brothers, man.
Yeah, I know.
That's just him being humble.
Yeah, so
I've done gigs with this guy where one day we're in Brisbane, the next morning we have to fly to Sydney to do a gig at Sydney for the night, and then fly back straight first flight in the morning. Dude, I remember getting on the plane, seeing the stewardess, them remembering me and Afro, because Afro is easy to remember, and the next day seeing them again going, did you guys just come back like straight away, like same day? And we're like, yeah. I was like, oh, this is, and then I realized this is band life, baby.
this is a life.
I was like, I just did the same schedule as the flight attendant.
Yeah.
I like doing shit like that, bro.
Yeah.
I'll just won't sleep. I'll just like, let's just do this.
Yeah.
Let's pack it in. Taylor's like, there's a lot of shows on that day. I'm like, just say yes to everything. I'll work it out. I'll work out logistics. We'll make it work. And we always made it work.
Yeah.
Did the gig here, flew out in the morning, did the gig in Sydney at night, flew out that next morning, came back to Brisbane, did another gig that same day. And we're like, we did it.
Don't get me wrong, it's so much quieter now than what it used to be. It used to be like this all the time.
Yeah.
But now there's a bit more space in between, which is it's probably a bit better, right? There's a bit more breathing space.
So I think the industry's been diluted. Personally, and when I say diluted, it's been filled up with a lot of YouTube musos, I call them, that didn't get crafted by the music. They just learnt the chords from YouTube. Back in the days, you had to be loving the music industry because you had to learn and listen, and you didn't, you know.
You have to do the rounds, man.
I didn't come from a family that put me through freaking music school. You know, it was at the party, and your uncle like, that ain't the chords. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, you had to love it.
Yeah, you did.
And because you loved it then, it crafted some of the best musos around. I think the musos are great around, but I think there's an influx of a lot of average musos that are diluted down the industry. And, you know, now they're like musicians, and now they don't care what bands do. It's really weird, man. I don't know if you've seen that yourself, but I've been seeing they don't really care anymore.
Sometimes on certain radios do the same shit over and over and over, and I'm like, we're way better than this, guys. We're way better than this, but
yeah. Look, man, I think things are gonna take a few steps back.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be that's what this is about, man. This conversation's about finding where that moment is, you know. And it might not happen in one conversation. It might happen in a few. We might talk to you in a year's time, or we might talk to a venue, or we might talk to a booking agent, or we might talk to a management or engineer. And through all of these conversations, we might find a moment where it might spark something in a venue. Maybe venues will start putting more open mics to vet their musicians. Who knows? I don't know, man. I'm just the facilitator here to just push the conversation where I think it might bring some help.
It's a great thing about podcasts, yeah.
Yeah,
great thing what you're doing about in here as well.
Yeah, man, for sure. Now we're going to get to the fun part, and then we're going to wrap this up because I reckon on that note, man, we've gone everywhere. Gone anywhere. Is there anywhere that we haven't gone?
Oh, bro, we can go anywhere.
We can go everywhere with band stuff, man.
2% in. You call the shots, bro. Where you want to go.
A lot of years in the industry that we can keep going.
PG, M, R, X, wherever you want to go, bro.
Just tell us where we need to go, my boy.
You never know, we might do a Den Devine Sessions after dark. When all the cameras are off. Invite only. Nah, man, like, okay, so some fun things. First things first. Dream collab. Obviously, I'm assuming it's Kanye, but
I'd love to do it. Yeah, before Prince died, it was like dudes like Prince, and you know that was my.
There's a guy around the Gold Coast, bro. That I'll find his details. I don't know if you know him. You might know him. but I forget his name. But he used to be Kanye's
Producer.
real close with Kanye. He's now lives on the Gold Coast. He used to work for Victoria's Secret, I think, for a long time. Do you know him? Have you crossed paths with him?
I know Mike Snell, which is he produced Kanye's record. I think I'm Bipolar or something, that one there. And he's now with Kanye now producing his new album now. He lives in Burleigh, but he just moved. He hasn't moved back. He's just over there now.
Okay.
But he's one of my boys. He's a legend.
That might be one. That might be who I'm thinking about.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he also put on gigs?
He does, yeah.
Yeah. Does he do? Because I think I've done some stuff with him with Kaloshi. I've done a few Kaloshi gigs with him, and but I was just I was wondering if you've. Speaking of Kanye, I'm sure Kanye's come into a conversation.
American bloke?
He's American.
Oh yeah, it could be the same dude.
Yeah. Dark.
Yeah.
Bald.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool guy.
He's a legend.
He's a legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was going to do something like he's we've gotten him had meetings with him because he was going to produce some Hanlon Brothers stuff, like all the stuff coming out. So
Okay. Cool, man. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So Dream collab.
great dude.
Is it?
Oh man, I don't know. Probably Frank Ocean or Kanye or someone like that.
Oh man, my dream is just Stevie Wonder, eh? To ever get a chance just to even sing with him would be dope.
Yeah.
He's just one of the inspirations. Yeah, Stevie.
And dinner talks with a dead or alive celeb. That you could just have a dinner, just unannounced, like sort of no time limit, just hang out.
I know this guy's P Diddy.
Call him Puffy.
I don't know. I reckon Prince, something like that. He's got pretty good stories.
Yeah.
You know, Dave Chappelle would have some rad stories.
Dave Chappelle,
yeah. Just dudes like that who can deliver really well and be super funny at the same time.
Yeah. For sure. How about you, bro?
Past ones that have passed, probably Luther Vandross for me, man.
Yeah.
I'm very deep when it comes to like old school ballads and love jams. Luther Vandross, James Ingram, those kind of those old hits. That's my kind of feel.
What about you?
Me?
Yeah, yourself.
I'm just gonna always say Bob Marley. Like
Bob.
Did you watch a new movie?
Yeah, I did, man. Like it was pretty not controversial, but Bob was. My opinion was Bob was so much things to so many different people.
Yeah, that's
So it was be hard. It's impossible to please everyone. I liked it. I liked it because it was from the perspective of his kids, and I think I appreciated that part. But I'd love to just sit down with Bob. I'd firstly love to ask him, like, well, it might be hard having a conversation with him. He's so wise, You might be like, well, who killed you? It's not about who killed me, man. It's about the life that you live. I'm like, come on, brother. Who killed you? Who shot you? Or Puck, for sure.
Yeah.
That would be the other one. And what's your bucket list gig, bro? Bucket list venue? Mine's Red Rock Amphitheatre.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah,
probably
that'd
my
be
bucket
rad.
list, bro.
I don't know, man. It's always changing. So now it's it actually just be performing with my son on stage anywhere.
Yeah?
That's actually that makes me just more happy than anything.
Nice.
But then as an artist, probably like, playing Coachella or something like that. Somewhere that's these
Coachella would be
big
dope.
things, yeah.
Yeah.
Which one of our mates, Paul, who Taylor and I catch up with every now and then, he plays for Ray. He just played at the American Awards, 50th American Awards. Did you see that? I'm just like, and he played Coachella, and he just flies everywhere around the world, and he's from Goldie. He plays guitar, and he. Oh really? And he's my boy. He's,
Now you've met another person that knows him.
yeah, like we're super tight. So
What's his Paul?
Paul, yeah,
We can only call him Paul.
yeah, I'm not gonna say
Agent Paul.
no, Paul Murray, and yeah, he is the man. And yeah, he
Paul
just-
gets up, Paul.
yeah.
Oh, he's the man, bro.
Oh, Paul guitar.
three now.
Oh, Michael Jackson. No, Michael Jackson. Michael. Yeah. This is our player. Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
Oh, you mean he Michael Jackson? He's just casual, like, bro.
The black or white one. Which one are you talking
Which
about?
one?
That's right, Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's freaking like he's playing
He's
all
the
these
man,
venues
bro.
now. And I'm just like, I watch his stories and I'm like, you mother. But he stuck by it. He stuck by it. He took a punt and moved to London when he was already doing good gigs here, and he went, I'm going to move to London, started again, and then eventually picked up a good artist. He got Ray, and that was it. And now he's just everywhere.
Funny we talk about that. Paul Murray I met at the old jam sessions doing open mic nights.
Yeah, he was there.
So we used to be, you'd be surprised how many artists that are now came from
Open
jam
mic
sessions.
nights.
Yeah.
Anyone listening in?
Yeah.
There's where the gold is. You got to dig to get to the good stuff.
Yeah, because you don't know who's going to be down the track where they're going to be at. And they might call you and be like, bro, I need you to come.
And they're not going to be in your living room. Your uncle telling you he knows everyone. It's going to be out here proving your worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good old jam sessions, man.
What's your bucket list gig, bro?
My bucket list gig, probably the new Sphere in Vegas.
Oh, yeah, that would be. Damn it.
Where
Damn,
you
we
play.
got the best one. Far out. Obviously been up with the trends.
Just seeing that venue, and I think just being there and just immersed in that kind of visual.
Yeah.
Well,
Art
he was
at
going to
the
say
same
the
time.
Sphere or Den Devines. It was one of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
It's either Den Devine or Sphere, of course.
Sphere.
we'll save the best for last. Dan Devine's probably after Sphere.
The thing is about Dan Devine's not the Sphere. Is Dan Devine got this from Sweden? All their products
They
from
don't have
China.
Sweden.
Their products from China.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is an $1,800 wallpaper you're looking at in the back, sponsored by Sweden.
It's a Swedish
Quick
paper.
trip in Hawaii on the way through.
It's been in more places than you. Yeah, man. And any advice for anyone coming through the industry? Let's say from a drummer's perspective, because I think that's more interesting than just being a singer. Just sing. Drummer, I don't even know where to start how to become a drummer. So
Neither. I'm still trying. I see that. That's Taylor getting lessons at Hanlon School
that's
of
why I
Music.
keep you around.
That's it.
Hanlon School of Music.
Yeah, it's crazy how this guy's, people think the singer is the main dude. In our crew, it's the drummer. For me, he handles everything, man. What I sing, what's coming next. In other words, I'm just the guy delivering it for him.
Yeah, that's another thing I love about Hanlon Brothers, man. Like, I've always been a quiet observer. Like, again, I've got kids. I've had kids for 8 years now. So for that time, it's like I can't come out to all the gigs. But I do know that you do love singing with you. You just throw things together and it's always epic. So yeah, I have seen that a lot. I test that, bro.
It's like a canvas, bro. That's what you think of.
Yeah,
You just got to put like what paints go with what, and it all works out.
yeah.
Sometimes it's a bit cucker brown, but you only can, all the good guys are not there, so you got to just deal with it. But it always works, bro. It always works. You always.
Sure. Yeah, man. So yeah, some advice for drummer, like even something simple. Hanlon Brothers School of Music.
Oh yeah, well yeah. That's
What
right.
do you teach drummers at your music
I
school?
personally don't teach anymore. I stopped teaching years ago. But I've got 3.
What do you teach your teachers to teach?
It's a principle.
So there's kind of I have a kind of a
Principles.
rough curriculum that I go through, and I've broken down. So I break things down into 3 parts. So first part is rudiments. So as a drums, we'll just stick with drums now. So rudiments, because everything, and a rudiment is basically you're alternating hands, but that's the easiest way to put it. It's so you don't favor one hand or the other. You're learning different sticking techniques or patterns so you can alternate both hands.
Yeah.
So it's learning rudiments, but every song will have a rudiment in it, right? And so it's basically breaking that down to an easy way so people get used to doing rudiments so the hands become even. Then the next part of that section is learning some new stuff. So that can be like if you're learning a song, it'll be learning how to put them, paste them together. So for instance, if there's a verse or something, so learn how to put your kick, real beginner stuff, kick, snare, hats together with a bit of basic reading. And then the third stuff, so if you have a 30-minute lesson, you do 10 minutes of each. And the third stuff is basically improv.
Yeah.
So it's actually jamming with your teacher, feeling it out. So that comes a little bit down the track, but you can still do it on a beginner. What that does is that encourage you to find your own voice at a young age or as you're developing your skills. Because over the years of teaching, I found personally is that people would be – the con had this for a while where I felt every player out of there was just carbon copy. They all sounded the same from a drum perspective. And I'm like there needs to be something different here. You need to have your own voice. So as a teacher, it's finding what particular rudiment that the kids like, whether they're attracted to, what they like going to, what they actually like natural feel to, and it's actually honing in on that and going, you should try this, like, you know, try this pattern out. And then when you're going back and forth with them, to be like leading ways for them to go, now try that, like encourage them to be like, oh yeah, I didn't think I could add that on. So you're actually building their musical vocabulary up.
It's kind of like finding their sound, yeah.
Finding their sound, yeah, finding their
your
voice,
sound,
finding the character.
But that's
Finding
one
your
part, because I've had people in there before that have never learn anything new, or they've never done rudiments, and they're just like bashing away, and they'll do it for hours because they're just all free. But there's nothing in there of like, man, you could be so much of a better player. But you just don't
no
have
pocket.
any foundation underneath that to go there.
Yeah.
So you got to balance it out, and that's kind of like what we do at the school.
No, that's epic.
You got to develop that artistry in them at a young age too.
Yeah.
So we base everything on performance video. So everything there, everyone has to go ahead to go to a performance video for each term, and then end of the year we have a school performance. So
Plug in the Hanlon Brothers School of Music, man. Let's talk about that for a hot minute. Like, what's the vision for it? Are you wanting to grow it? Are you wanting to keep it more like?
that's growing.
You are going to grow it?
Yeah. And the thing is that, so this goes hand in hand talking as a muso, like back in the day, there wasn't enough music to sustain us, and especially if we're knocking on, like we did Mario's down here. I don't know if they're still down there, the pizza joint. And we went back there years ago, just knocking on a door, talking to Dimatina about, can you get us a gig here? He paid us peanuts, but we still did a gig there to just play, you know, but you got to match that money somewhere because everyone's got rent and stuff to pay. So that's why we started teaching. So it was kind of an offset, but still in the same, still in the same industry.
Yeah, still in there. Yeah. It's like going to do sound, being an engineer or being a manager or whatever these other things are. You still got one foot in the industry.
That's right.
Yeah, you need to do that, diversify.
You do. Yep. The other thing as well that got us into it is because we'd always used to go away a lot. So if you go away on tours a lot, when you get back, the phone doesn't ring because people don't know you're home. So people aren't going, hey, bro, can you do this gig for me this weekend? Because they just assume you're not here.
Yeah.
So just no one rings. It's like a huge thing. Like you could be a motherfucker player, but if no one knows you're home, they won't call you because they just think you're on the road.
Yeah.
So then it was like having a bit of teaching was good because then I have a handful of kids that I could, or adults I could come back and go, hey, I'm coming back on this date. I'm back teaching again. Yeah, book me back in. So it was a good, bring that income in.
Yeah, for sure.
Just thinking outside the box a little bit, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
But the school started like that. And then eventually, because my dad had a music school as well, and we which was at Burleigh Arcade. I think they started in about 96, 97. And then I taught out of there, and then I was teaching out of Billy Hyde's, which was now Gold Coast Music, Stewie's joint. So I was teaching out of both of them, had about 70 kids collectively between them both. And then I found a place which we're at now because I wanted to leave Billy Hyde's because it was too much transport. And down in Burleigh was shutting down because the rent was going through the roof at the old arcade there. So I decided to take my students and move them out of there into a friend's place at the time who was shaping surfboards. He had his half pipe in there as well. I had this little space. I was like, I'm going to take that. Yeah. So I just found this little space, took that over. And then as time went on, he moved on, done his own thing. And then I took over the next room and then that building. And then I decided I didn't want to teach anymore because I lost passion for it. And that's the other thing. You just got to be honest of when it's time to, I think, pull your cards.
Nice. That's a really good piece of advice, man. And I think it's the most important.
Absolutely, bro.
That's like knowing when to leave. Like that's, man.
The thing is that music doesn't define you. Like, and people ask me like, do you define yourself as like a musician or an artist? I'm like, actually, to be honest, I see myself as a dad first, and then everything else revolves around that.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't. It doesn't define who I am.
You also have to know who you are before you become a musician, I think, because then you can, you don't get swayed. You can get swayed if you don't know who you are. If you don't have a backbone, people can just manipulate you like crazy, man. Like, managers out there fill your head with shit. I'm going to take you around the world. Yeah, if you don't know who you are, you can get just pushed around.
Until now you get that. Yeah. You get random people saying things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And you hear it all the time, you know, and you just don't know who to believe.
And half the time,
But once you know the right people, you just
shit.
you just nod and just go, oh, that's cool, bro.
Well,
Thanks
now we
anyway."
just go, can you go talk to that lady over there on the laptop? That's what we do now.
Thanks for that.
And
Like,
she's
shut
just like talking to her. She's like, you mother.
One thing I've learned in the industry myself is the people who have the most pull will never tell you they know anyone. They won't even talk to you until it's time. And it won't be like, you know, that's what I've learned, man. The people who actually really can do something, they're not telling you, hey, I can do something for you. It just happens like
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. That's
they
very
don't
true.
talk shit. You know what I mean? They're coming with contracts, not when you're at a gig when they're drunk.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they
They're
know who
quietly
they are, they know
there.
what they've got. They've
Yeah.
just,
Exactly. They'll message you out of the blue and say, hey, I just saw you
'Cause we
last
only pull
night.
that card when
love
we
the
have to."
vibe. And then it's on, you know? But they're not coming up talking drunk talk to you.
no.
No.
They're not impressed. They've seen 1,000 of yous. You know what I mean? Like they're doing their due diligence for 2 weeks after they see your shit. Like that's, I'm sure, you know.
Yeah, I reckon too.
I'm sure, you know. Like, what do you reckon? Cool, man. And yourself, bro. Like any advice for people wanting to get into the music industry from a singer's perspective?
Yeah, for me, it's all about one, finding your sound and keep doing it. You know, just enjoy it. Get the network around you. You know, like network's a very big thing, especially in the music industry. Like for me, just having friends that share the same passion as me
Yeah.
is amazing. You know, it's something that I can share with them and have a talk with them that they understand that other people really can't understand.
Yeah.
You know, you talk to normal Joe Blow who does a 9 to 5, he doesn't understand what we do.
You need to be around me.
And we were talking about that earlier. Like, you know, one thing that I hate explaining is what I do, especially when someone says, what do you do? You know, when you get into a crowd of people that don't know you and you speak to them and they go, oh, so what do you do for work? Oh, I'm a singer.
I'd say I'm retired. That's what I think.
You're tired.
I'm retired.
Because the amount of explanation you have to do is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you
And then
can-
they just
you
look
can
down
laugh
on you. Wait, I'm a singer. Oh,
Yeah.
Really?
You're a singer.
Really?
Must be hard.
They do
Oh,
that.
right.
Oh, we get opposite. I'm opposite.
I'm opposite.
I'm
I don't say
opposite to
anything
that.
because I'm like, as soon as I tell them, they go, oh, really?
They're really
what is that?
intrigued.
And so, what does it happen? What is it? And I'm like, oh my fucking god! Now, I don't want to talk about it. Is that a podcast? I don't want to talk about me.
Man, I get people say it's hard. I get people say it must be difficult out there in the industry. I guess they just don't really know what it's about, you know. But I think there's like an old narrative that they think it's hard to be in the music industry.
It can be hard though, right?
Yeah, you make it hard if you don't do those little steps, like you said, man.
You make it as hard as you want it to
Yeah,
be. Like, so it's
you define that.
absolutely. You just got to, like I said, compartmentalize what you feel is like your things in life that you think are important and what you want to go towards, and you just, you know, the beauty of it is that it doesn't happen overnight. So you've got time to work on things and time to move on things.
Especially in like 2024, like one thing that I've learned from LAB is there's not even an age on this. Like the LAB, they're not young, but yet they're at their peak.
My boy Joel, shout out to Joel.
Shout out Joel Adams again.
Joel Adams. Joel Adams, different Joel.
Oh, different Joel. Sorry, Joel.
Joel Adams is a good dude though.
But it's like, you know, like that's one thing that you get inspiration from some of these bands who are not, you know, there's a narrative where you got to get it while you're 20. It's 20 is the only time you can actually make a success.
Yeah.
It's not true.
No,
It's not true.
Owen and I went back and we played. There was a jam night again at Mount Malik, and Joel would come in and would play, but we'd always love fusion shit, so us three would play. And I think my brother showed me a few weeks ago. He's bro, there's all shit on YouTube of us playing with Joel, and I was like, man, this guy is so good. He's so talented. And I actually thought in my head, I'm like, man, he could miss out. He just has to push his own thing. And then all of a sudden LAB came out and he was the front dude for it. And then when I started watching him, like the last time I saw him, we played, was it Caloundra? No, because we were playing for Jared James and he was playing after us something. I was watching, it was Country Music Festival. And I noticed with the boys is like, I wanted him to solo more and dig in more because he's a motherfucker player, bro.
Yeah.
He's real deal, yeah. But their songs have, bro, They've nailed it, bro. They've nailed the formula for festivals. And I've just noticed that when I play, he doesn't solo out too long. It's just enough that people want more than the next song. And I'm like, man, these guys are real. For me as a music, I want to see him just fucking go hard on it and like, you know.
But that's why they like you said, they've nailed it. They've got the science. They know how to get people coming back.
They do.
And it's probably that 60% rule that you said before. They never really probably go. They're like, we're going to keep you here. They're in for the long haul.
They're in for the long haul.
LAB's there for the long road, man. Yeah. They're not going anywhere, you know?
They're great dudes, bro.
Yeah, man.
Great
So what's next, like with the Hanlon Brothers or with yourself? You were talking about an album before.
Yeah, so it was...
COVID sort of came in and done what it done.
And we wrote an album in COVID as well, which is really kind of a bit dark and sinister, which is... The sound was, not so much the content of the lyrics, but the sound was real dark and sinister. That'll probably get shelved only because I don't know. And I don't know what's going to happen with that. But we have an album previously to that we started dropping, that we're going to go back to dropping that this year or the start of next year. We're also going to drop all our improv albums back again because we have so many improv albums, which are really cool because you can hear the rapper, which is Roman.
Roman MC's with Bullhorn now.
He is, yeah.
They're doing crazy
Bullhorn
good.
and what's that other band he's with? I can't remember the other band.
But I have this memory with you that I don't know if you ever remembered it.
You should ask Roman who found him.
Yeah.
It's his interview in one of his podcasts.
Really? He says no, family.
No, he didn't say the thing, but he did the podcast and then he sent me. He shared me the link so I could watch it. And
that's so bad.
So the story about that. Let me tell you a quick story about that.
Good story.
So we had
I want to hear this.
So with Roman, he's one of my boys here. I love Roman. Love you, Roman.
Just want to get to Toto.
Yeah, no. So we're at, I think, South Bank at a jam night there at the time. So
jam nights come up heaps tonight.
So
man, today
we used to do it at Caxton Street, and then we moved it over to a place in West End, around that area. And anyway, I was on stage doing my thing, you know, and Roman was in the back in the crowd, and he wasn't Roman yet. He was just a guy with all these other uni students that were just chilling.
Caterpillar.
And I saw him, you know, just really into it. You know how he is when he hears the sound and he just loves it. He's head banging. I just knew this guy's got something in him. And straight away I got the mic and I went, hey, yo, this kid over there, come up here, bro. And he was like, no. And everyone's like, all his friends were like, bro, do it. And I was like, yo, come up. And then when he came on stage, I was like, bro, what are you doing? What's your name? He's like, oh, my name's Roman. And he's like, oh, I spit a little bit. And just, you know, just like that. He's like, I rap a little bit, this and that. And I was like, all right, cool, bro. Here's the mic. Let's get on. Let's do it. And then when he jumped on, that was it. Game over. Once he spits, that's it.
He's fire.
He's fire. Like, he's the kind of kid that can spit without swearing a single swear. Like, he doesn't need to swear.
He's intelligent. Vocabulary's
intelligent. Grad student.
Yeah.
Reads a lot of books.
Yeah.
Very, very
Switched
smart
on.
man.
He's switched on.
Very switched
Yeah,
on.
that's cool. I didn't know that. That's good. Good on you, Noel.
Yeah.
Finding him. Let
That's
him my
epic,
way.
yeah.
Good old Roman.
Yeah.
Roman.
Shout out, Roman.
No, I was just going to say, man, like, so you guys actually influenced me to jump in the music industry as well. You probably don't remember. This was years and years and years ago. But it was one of those jams. I think it was at Sound Lounge, maybe. Currumbin. Somewhere. I can't remember where it was. But yeah, that was Roman was with you guys. It was you, Omar, Roman. And then he was doing the same, calling people up. And I jumped up there, you know, spit some freestyles. And this was years and years and years ago, bro. And it was the first time I jumped up, like, even then, like, with real professionals. And I was like, man, I love this shit. I want to do this more, you know? And it was like that for one of those sparks that made me want to go from being a hobbyist to maybe I want to take this on a bit more serious. Yeah,
bro,
man.
I like hearing that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, man. Like, and that's the thing, man, is I'm a quiet person in the background and just, you know, going through my own things. But I knew there would be a day we'd just be able to talk about these sort of things, bro. Like, and, you know, that's cool to be able to, now all these years later,
That
talking.
is crazy.
Yeah.
I would never have thought that ever.
Yeah,
I can't even
right.
remember that gig. But that was, and that's not because of, you know, you just
No, it was thousands of
I'm just
gigs,
like, man, I
man.
can't even remember doing one at Currumbin yet, like at Sound Lounge. But how good is that though? it's from there,
Yeah.
there's little sparks, these little things everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes, that's crazy, man. It's a good story.
And that's another good lesson to teach those people out there is, you just don't know. You just don't know.
You just don't know.
And you have to put yourself in the positions. That's the other thing, You put yourself in the right positions. Anything can happen.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah, man. So any parting words out for final things? Just for now. I'm sure we're going to jump back into this sometime soon.
Look, I always end with this one. It's been always believe yourself as an artist. You're innovative, and just always remember that.
Yeah.
So when you're ever stuck in a certain place, you have to believe in yourself that you are. I know it sounds cocky, but you are different to everyone else, right? You've got this innovation skill, so use it.
Yeah.
Be as an artist, you need to use that.
Totally agree with that.
So you need to push for things like, how do I get out of this? People just think, oh, it's just about music, or it's just about art, or it's about a venue or whatever. But it's way more than that. Your brain is wired to think outside the box. So you can apply that for everything.
Yeah.
In life. You just need to you find a way to do it. So you need to back yourself up because you've got the ability.
Yeah.
Agree. Not totally agree. Be innovative. Be a musician, be an artist, be yourself. It's the end of the day. This is the only time when you can really express yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's not many jobs where you can express yourself. And I think being a musician in itself is all about expression and delivery and just loving what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's heaps cool job.
It's such a cool job.
It's a cool job. You're working, 3 hours a night?
Straight. And there's still complaints, right? No.
Well, that 3 hours feels like an 8-hour day, though.
Yeah, and everything that's coming up, that's through Hanlon Brothers that you're releasing on, all the Hanlon Brothers stuff. So it's 42 bands.
42 bands is separate. That's just a cover
that's the
thing.
corporate
that's
thing.
Corporate event thing,
So
which
that's
used to be Hanlon Brothers.
So anyone who's needing an epic corporate band, 42 bands the one.
That is the one.
That's the one.
So there's
$12,000 an hour. Jokes.
A little bit more.
Just send your inquiry in. No. So and then there's that, and then there's, the school. The school
Worth
does
it
its
anyway.
own thing.
I'd pay $12,000 an hour.
We're only $200 an hour.
That's just joking, but the joke that's not a joke is you're fully worth it anyway.
Oh, thanks, bro.
Yeah, man.
The school to come through the school that we set anyone that wants to work on a craft.
Yeah.
And develop artists, develop people, develop the skills. So
yeah,
and then Hanlon Brothers will be releasing stuff which is separate again, and the school's going to grow. We're just going to get bigger and bigger than that, and then eventually, with that idea, is just to have multiple schools that just teach. That's our way of giving back to the community.
Beautiful. Because
in my head, I'm thinking if you can have 500 kids or 1,000 kids going out and knocking on doors, going, "I want gigs," eventually, it's going to be, it will change the industry here.
Yeah.
So, and that's how I see it. It's like pushing out more, or if they don't, they're people that love music and be like, I want to see music. So that's the whole that's why I've approached the school way and teaching kids.
Yeah.
And we've got great teachers. So they're all really friendly, really good people.
Cool.
Yeah.
And how about yourself, man? Like you obviously do work with Hanlon Brothers, but you're your own artist yourself, yeah?
Yeah, same thing. Look, I just do the music side with Saia as well, but I do have a business side of me. And that's pretty much all I do. It's just business and music. You know what I mean?
Do you have your own socials?
I'm not really big on socials. I'm a very low key kind of person.
Low key.
It knows everyone.
I like to stay low key. You know what I mean? Like,
unless you're on that Bigo app and you're like 1,000 people watching.
Yeah, well, I just like staying low key, and just doing the music and doing the mahi at the end of the day.
Yeah, sweet, man.
Low key, unless you're Toto or Journey. And then you just
hang on.
Oh, Keith Martin was my groomsman as well. Keith Martin, past Keith Martin. Rest in peace, my brother.
Yeah, man. Look, big respect for you guys coming and getting vulnerable with me, and getting real. I know I know we're just scratching the surface. I'm sure we'll do another one because I'd like to always, chat in another year time or 6 months or something
Yeah,
like that,
absolutely.
man. If you guys would be
See where we're
keen.
at then.
Yeah, man. But no, I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate you jumping on.
Thanks, my man.
Big respect.
I'm opening up in a venue too soon, so everyone just watch that space, all right?
You open a venue?
Yeah, so everyone just keep an eye out.
Hey.
Hey?
Oh, shout out to my
Alright.
sponsors too, Model Citizen. Yeah.
Which will be coming up soon. You'll see that come through.
Yeah? Man, that's exciting. That's heaps exciting.
That's called it. I think that's called it. My psychology calls it a door handle response. It's like just before you leave, you throw someone a door handle. Like, I'll see you later. You go, wait, what? What? Thanks, bro.
Sweet as, bro.
Thank you.
Choo.